Man, the results out of California are absolutely stunning. Spencer Pratt, he has taken second place in the LA mayoral race. The results are not confirmed yet, but it's looking pretty good that he advances to the runoff in November. Now, Hilton is in the number one spot, and this is all massive because it means turnout is likely going to be explosive for a variety of reasons. Now, the response from our progressive friends has been, how should I say, ungentlemanly and unladylike. Nithya Raman, who got third place, cried. She cried. Guys, you want to hold office, you want to be in the highest and most dangerous positions and do the hard work. You can't break down crying when you lose. And she cried. Hassan Piker, he got angry. And I'll give him that. Anger is a better response than tears. Hassan aptly pointed out, with Steve Hilton in the front-runner position, it is going to light a fire under Republicans, and this is very bad news for progressives and Democrats. It's what's going to wake up Republicans to get out and vote, because now there's an actual chance a Republican can win the governor's race in California and maybe set that state straight. So we'll talk about that. We got a lot of news in that response. And then, of course, 60 Minutes we got to talk about because this one's a bit more esoteric, but this matters towards the prestige of these institutions. Scott Pelley was fired, losing his mind. There's this big uproar at CBS, and Barry Weiss is basically just axing all of these woke corporate Dem liars, and the media is getting shuffled around, reshaped, and that's going to be fun. But I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the assault of Rep. Luna. I was shocked and appalled. Apparently, a Code Pink staffer or organizer struck Rep. Luna, an assault, she says. And then we saw the video. Yeah, the Code Pink lady lightly tapped Luna on the arm to talk to her, and Luna lost it and called it an assault, I guess, and it's a ridiculous story. So we're going to talk about that. Of course, the big news is the ramification of on the midterms. What we are seeing in California is ridiculously good news for Republicans. So this is going to have a massive, massive impact. We'll talk about that. Before we get started, my friends, we got a great sponsor for you. It is AmericanFinancing.net/Tim. Check it out. In today's uncertain economy, American Financing is helping families find a way out of the high interest trap. We're heading into summer, but the economic clouds aren't clearing for most middle-class families. Between the persistent inflation and the cost of daily life, you're likely feeling the pressure. You worked hard for your home, and you probably have more equity than you realized. Yet the summer surge is forcing many to rely on credit cards. It's an exhausting cycle, but American Financing understands that 2026 requires a real strategy. That's why they have salary-based mortgage consultants. With mortgage rates in the fives, their customers are saving an average of $800 a month by wiping out high-interest debt. That's money that stays in your pocket to fight back against rising costs. No upfront fees, no pressure. And if you start today, you could delay 2 mortgage payments. Call American Financing today at 866-890-7811. That's 866-890-7811. Or visit AmericanFinancing.net/Tim. Don't forget to also go to Timcast.com. Join us. Tens of thousands of people hanging out in a community. And you know what? You should join, make friends, and be involved. Don't just sit idly by, passively watching the news and the world. Join in and be part of something bigger, community. It's the most important thing we can do. We live for the human experience, and the Timcast Discord community wants to hang out with you, so please join us. Your support makes this show possible. Don't forget to smash the like button right now. Share this show across all of social media. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, hit that notification bell. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more, we got Myron Gaines.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Who are you? What do you do?
One half of the Fresh Fit podcast, author of Why Women Deserve Even Less, new book out in stores. Book number 1 was Why Women Deserve Less. Book number 2 is Why Women Deserve Even Less. And book 3 coming soon, Why Women Deserve Nothing. So, yeah, happy to be here.
Are you actually making those books?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he's an author, and good to have you. It should be fun. It'll be funny. We got the boys hanging out. Ian, of course.
Hey, everybody, good to be here. Phil Labonte in the house. Good to see you again,
everybody.
man.
Thank you very much.
Very clean cut. You look very look lit, bro.
Got rid of the mustache. Makes me look a little younger.
Did you talk about the tour already on the show?
Talked about it a little bit, yeah.
I don't want to drag it on, but
Carter's here.
Yeah, people keep saying you look really young, Phil.
Yeah. Go on tour, you lose about 10 years or so.
Wow, that's wild.
That's correct.
There's probably a lot of cardio.
Yeah. You know,
He's absorbing their energy.
That's right.
Like some kind of music vampire.
It's true. It's true.
All right, let's get the news. We got this one from the New York Post. Nithya Raman's appalling tantrum after LA mayoral flop. Okay, the first thing we got to talk about is tremendous victory for the Republicans in LA and in California statewide. Steve Hilton is the front runner for the governor's race. He'll move to a runoff. Spencer Pratt is in second place. He's currently up 7.1 points. So Nithya Raman is starting to close the gap a little bit. Only 62% of the votes are in. And the most important thing you need to understand is that California has election month, and they say they will not know the results for weeks. My argument is because they're rigging the election. They want to slowly count the ballots and make sure they can eliminate votes for the Republicans. But in the meantime, Spencer Pratt had a tremendous showing. People are screaming and cheering. They're super excited. Hilton is in first place for the governor's race. And in response, I actually couldn't believe this when I was told this. When the boys were like, hey, Nithya Raman was crying. I was like, she's crying? She's an adult woman. What is she crying for? Oh, I was wrong. They're children.
I've been a candidate for something as long as you can remember. And you've had to live through it with me. And you've been so patient through all of it. Thank you. Kannan Kaveri, I hope you know that everything every person in this room is fighting for in this campaign has been about building a city that's worthy of you and every child in this city.
Oh, no. Oh, no, she's crying. Quick, burn the Constitution.
Yeah, I'm okay with a little bit of emotion. I mean, Jordan Peterson does it well. If you're really
No, he
feeling
doesn't.
something-
He does not do it
I think
well.
it's nice to see a grown man be, not close off.
Oh, it's crazy. It's off-putting.
Depends on when you do it. It's off-putting for people to be constantly
He
just
does it
shut
all
off to
the
their emotions
time.
as well. What's that?
He does it all the time.
Sometimes he does it. He's not that extreme. But anyway, this girl, that her voice was shrill. It was annoying. I don't know what she was crying about. I mean, she lost. I don't think maybe she was sad because she
Bro,
lost.
I'm sorry.
Chilling.
That's different than loving
Myron.
your wife so much that it brings you to tears.
Did you see that video where the female members of Congress were like, my menstrual pain is so intense, I deserve time off from work?
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens. It's a disease called KAS, kitchen abandonment syndrome. When women aren't in the kitchen long enough, they end up crying and doing weird
I
things
think
like this.
that her menstrual cycle would be painful whether she was in the kitchen or out of it.
It'd be less painful when she's in the kitchen. There's actually studies out there that show the closer you are to a stove, the less it hurts during your period.
There might be something.
No, to be fair, there's a hot
food,
bath, wine, and a nice book, and that's why. But it's funny because you're making a joke and you're like, I should be in the kitchen," but she's asking to be.
I don't think he's joking.
No.
Well-
No, I mean, it's a half joke. It's meant to be humorous. The point is, she's agreeing with you.
Yeah.
She's saying, I want to be home because my hoo-hoo hurts. Now, this is the issue I take with Nithya Raman crying. Listen, man, women can do certain jobs. Like, if there's a 6'7" behemoth of a woman who talks like this, and she's like, I'm going to be a firefighter, I'd be like, okay. Like, I always make the joke that if I'm in a burning building, and I'm like gagging for air on the ground, and I'm like, I'm not going to make it, and the door busts open, I don't care if it's a man or a woman. I want to see a 6 foot tall, glistening, sweaty, oiled hunk of muscle. And like the last thing I want to see is a 110-pound woman soaking wet, being like, I can't pick you up. You're going to die. So if that turns out to be a 6'5" behemoth of a woman who's like, I'll carry you out, I'd be like, yes, awesome. But I got to be honest, that's not likely. That's just not likely. So truth be told, every man would prefer to see, for the most part, a ripped Arnold, glistening, sweaty guy being like, I'm going to pick you up and carry you to safety. You'd be like, save me. Like you're burning to death. I don't care. I don't want to see a frail woman. Anyway, like my point is this. Holy crap, Nithya Raman crying over losing this race.
Well, I've asked women this
It's
question
insane.
on my show as well, and I say, look, if you call 911, you're at the worst moment in your life. What do you want? Who do you want to walk through the door? And every single time, I want a capable man. Like it is what it is, right? Like I think it's very important that women tend to look at like the exceptions to the rule versus like the rule in general. Are there women out there that are capable of doing this stuff? Absolutely, but it's not enough of them. It's not high enough of a percentage to like substantiate an entire society using females to do certain masculine dominated jobs.
I mean, look. Let's speaking generally, it's all correct. The issue though is, like, my point is, listen. Out of 100 guys who can lift up a person and carry them out of a burning building, there's going to be maybe one woman who can do it.
Exactly.
And so that's fine for that woman to get that job.
Yeah.
And that's what feminism was supposed to be. If you are a She-Hulk and you want to do this job, please, you are capable of doing it. The problem is we turned that into, we have quotas now, and we're sending 5'4", 110-pound women to try and hold a fire hose, and they blast off like a rocket ship because they get launched in the air from the pressure.
Feminism went from equality of opportunity to equality of outcome. And that's the issue here. Look, if they can meet all the standards, cool, no problem. The problem is that a significant amount of them cannot, and we're watering down, our military, our firefighters, our police to meet these quotas.
I was listening to someone last night. I poured through Instagram last night, Instagram clips. But one of the guys was saying that men get a large dopamine release from solving problems. Women don't get that as far as he said, they don't get it. They get it from they get oxytocin release from like interpersonal relationships. So that's I think why they're drawn to nursing, why they're drawn to care, positions of care, where guys want to go fix the problem, put out the fire, put the wall up. And that's just general satisfaction.
We have evidence to back your theory. If you look at the majority of inventions and human progression, et cetera, who's always been at the forefront of that? It's always been men. Men are deductive problem solvers. We're the explorers. We're the discoverers. Women don't have the same proclivities to go out there and explore and innovate. They just don't.
They have babies.
It's not their biological imperative. But for men, our ability to procreate, our ability to create children and have offspring is contingent upon our productivity, which is why we're highly incentivized to go out there and be productive.
And women have babies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And they get offended by the idea, and that's the problem with modern feminism, that women are ashamed that they have babies.
Yes.
Like women, these feminists will actually argue, like, you think women are only just having babies? And it's like, principally they are, yes. And that's a very important thing because humans don't exist without that.
And like guys,
why do you want to come into the men's space and argue with a bunch of guys anyway? I don't get it.
So one thing that's interesting, whenever I have like a panel show and I have like a girl that's like maybe a stay-at-home mom or she's in like a loving relationship, whatever, she kind of prioritizes motherhood and being a wife or a girlfriend. And we have other girls that might be a bit more feminist or chasing a career. They'll shame her for not pursuing a career and having money and whatever. Like, what? So you're just a bum, you hang out all day? And it's like we've completely flipped it where for women, the metric of success is like the masculine burner performance versus like for women, it's versus these feminist women are just shaming these women for being moms, which is like what I think is the best thing they should be doing. But
it's a tough job. Maybe the hardest job on the planet.
It's a thankless job. It's a thankless job.
I still harass my mother. I called her today. Like 47 years later, I'm still calling the woman and asking for her advice.
And I'll say this too, because you mentioned like the oxytocin release, right? From like, being figuring things out and deductive problem solving. I think that's a big reason why men get hurt by relationships ending more, because for a lot of guys that might be brilliant, high IQ, etc., one of the few things they can't conquer is like understanding female psychology. So a lot of guys after a bad breakup, they thought they did everything right, they did what they were told was right, and then after the breakup, they're like, I can't figure this out, and this is what leads guys to self-deletion potentially.
Breeds obsession.
Exactly, because they're like, I figured everything else out. Why can't I figure out women? And the things we've been told about women is completely counterproductive to what they're actually aroused by.
Never listen to a woman tell you what she wants and then think that she's telling the truth.
This is what
She doesn't have any idea.
Let me ask you guys.
No, I disagree.
No idea.
They do, but they're not going to tell you.
Exactly. So women are not here right now. So I'll ask you guys as men what you think. I think that if a guy changes his feelings about something, he'll tell you. He'll be like, I don't feel that thing I used to anymore. Now I feel this new thing. And you'll be like, well, I see by the way you're saying it that that's true. Whereas a woman, she just starts acting different. And you're like, I better, if I'm not like paying attention, she's not going to tell me.
There's a cartoon meme that was on the front page of Reddit. And it was like a woman with like a book standing. It was like an animation. And the guy walks up and he was like, hey there, just saw you over here, thought you looked interesting and wanted to introduce myself. My name's John. Just wondering if you had any interest in ever hanging out. And she goes, no, thank you. And he goes, have a good day. And he turns on to walk off and she goes, what, is that it? You're just going to leave? And he goes, you said no. I'm going to go play video games.
She's like, it's not what I said, it's how I said it. Couldn't you read between the lines?
The point is, the reason why this video went viral is because it is a trope accepted by men and women. That women will say, oh, no, I'm not interested, because they want the guy to show interest. It's a test. And then you get this weird mix where obviously there are times where women really don't want a guy to do something, so they say no. But the problem then becomes a meme emerges where there are women who are saying, actually, no doesn't mean no. And then guys are like, I ain't getting anywhere near that statement.
Yep. Right. I think that comes evolutionarily from a woman that wants a guy that can read between the lines. Like, you're going to get a lot of shit tossed at you in the world, Ian, or whoever you are. Get ready to read through the crap. So if I'm telling you no in a situation, but you can tell my body language is telling you yes, you're supposed to somehow know that. And
well, I think the reason why women do this is they want to feel wanted. And I think it's also part of evolutionary psychology where if you think about it from, go back 10,000 years, if a woman said yes to any guy who walked up, she's getting low value males. She's trying to sort out. You can't see a guy. Like, a guy walks up, maybe he's physically fit. That's points. But you can't see if he's smart and capable. So women will push back and test the man to see if he's actually valuable.
That's why social proof is so important for them. And then the other thing I will say, right, and feminists will get mad at me for saying this, but like if women were honest about, their interest when it comes to arousal and romance, they would say, yeah, don't call me back. Don't pedestalize me. Always be the leader. Always make the decisions. I'm inept. I don't know what I want to eat. I'm indecisive. Like if women were actually honest about how they behave, no one would take them seriously. So they have a vested interest in lying to you, right, and selling a certain side of them that is more socially acceptable, more appealable. Like one thing about women, right, that's interesting because some guy was like, well, Myron, how can you give advice when like you're like an asshole or whatever, you're not like a nice guy? And I'm like, look, dude, what women say they want versus what they respond to are two different things. And I like to use the example of hybristophilia. Women overwhelmingly prefer bad boys, criminals, degenerates, etc. You look at like a Ted Bundy, a Richard Ramirez, a Luigi Mangione in modern times.
Yeah.
Why are women showing up to these guys' trials in droves? These guys are like, some of the most deplorable human beings. It's because women have a fascination with men that go against the grain and just kind of get it in some way. So women are never going to be honest about their sexual proclivities because it would make them look crazy. So that's why they have to say, I want flowers and a gentleman. I think they don't respond to that favorably.
Luigi Mangione and like these murderers, the idea is they'll kill for you.
Yeah.
They'll kill everybody else but you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're living in the wilderness and there's bears and bad people around and you're a woman, you're like, I want my man to just massacre anybody who threatens me.
You need to be capable of violence. And obviously these murderers are like embodying that obviously illegally, but it's very important that like, the things that women are aroused by and attracted to are like just not politically correct, so they can't be honest about that.
Let's jump to this story from the New York Post. Porn-obsessed Hassan Piker goes on shocking homophobic rant after Scott Wiener wins SF congressional primary. So I guess Scott Wiener won Pelosi's seat. She's retiring, and he's really angry.
Pittsburgh and Philly are far more progressive than San Fran and LA. Yeah. Yeah, you know what it is? I know what it is. Fucking car-reliant infrastructure. The more cars you have, the more chuddy the fucking city is. That's it. No public transit.
Scott Wiener wins.
No fucking people living close to one another. No close quarters to one another. No public transit at all. Massive wealth disparity.
That's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's just fucking rich liberals who just want homo-fascism in the country. That's it. They want gay fascism. They want gay techno-fascism.
So I guess what happened is that everybody he endorsed that went on his stream lost.
Yeah.
So Trump, I guess, just lost. What was it? Was it Utah or Iowa? One of his endorsements lost.
Yeah.
Was it Iowa?
I don't know
I think
which one it was, but there was.
And so that's like Trump's just lost one endorsement, but he's like swept everyone else. Hassan's just lost everyone he's backed has just lost, and so he's really pissed off. But of course, there is a lot coming out about Scott Wiener winning in Pelosi's district because people have questions about that guy. I'll say it like that.
Mr. Wiener?
Yeah, Mr.
Oh yeah,
Wiener.
he's pretty creepy. There's a lot of photos of him at gay pride parades, just dressed up like the people that go to gay pride parades, and
what, like Hassan backed the other candidate, so he's pissed off.
I don't know. I mean,
he's not wrong though.
Wiener's a pretty progressive guy.
Well, look, San Francisco is the city where they allow men to blow each other in public legally.
Yeah.
It is. You didn't know this?
Where? In LA?
San Francisco.
Oh, San Fran? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, in San Fran, like two dudes could go at it right in public in the middle of the street, and that's allowed. You didn't know that?
No, there's like no type of like indecency, lewd, lascivious. They don't have any voyeurism. None of these laws.
Bro, come on. You know how law works.
Of course, but like
If a city is entirely gay,
yeah.
the cop is probably gay
They
too.
just don't enforce it. Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah, but hold on. But like in West Virginia, men and women aren't allowed to live together.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
In West Virginia, the law says men and women cannot cohabitate. Everybody does.
Yeah.
But you have to be married in order to cohabitate.
Yeah.
But there's tons of people living with their boyfriends or girlfriends.
So
in
like
West
the
Virginia.
laws on the books is what you're saying. Is just that they just don't enforce it in San Francisco.
But I want to clarify that because it makes it sound like it's unique. It is the fundamental principle of law in every city, every county, and every state in this country that there are laws in the books the police do not enforce. Of
course.
Because the community does not want it enforced. So to stress, cohabitation is illegal in many states. But like any cop is going to arrest you for checking out your girlfriend. That's the point. being gay and like having sex in public is so normalized in San Francisco, the cops won't arrest you for it. And I'm not going to show the video, but there's video of this.
That's crazy.
And somebody walks up to the cops and they're like, "There's two guys going at it right now," and the cops are like, "What do you want us to do about it?"
There was
Yeah,
a,
there's
Like,
like, there's like
I'm arresting
insane laws.
those.
There's like in Texas, they still have like, you know, cow tipping laws and stuff like that. So like, yeah, there's insane
Cow tipping
laws.
is not real.
Well, Texas Rangers
Cow
like
tipping is not
So it
real.
used to be.
doesn't
So the
it
Texas
break your
Rangers, we make
legs?
this joke all the time, right? Like the Texas Rangers, like were pretty much kind of formulated. One of the reasons they were formulated was like for cattle theft, and it used to be like a capital offense way back in the day, and like this still on the books. But like, you know, it's kind of like a ceremonial thing. Like, do they still enforce it in that way? No, but like they get mad when you talk about this. By the way, with the Texas Rangers.
It is. I do like the cow tipping thing though, because people believe it. Like, how do you think you're going to knock
is it
over
like
a
cow stealing?
running
1,500 pound
jump kick? I
Yeah.
don't know.
No.
Or use
And
your
and
car,
the funny
push it
thing
over.
is, like,
Cattle
it's,
theft.
It's obvious
But, yeah.
cattle theft for sure.
Yeah.
But that still is on the books. There's cattle.
No, it
theft.
is. No, it is. It is on the books.
The funny thing is, you know, because I've lived around cows for a long time. Obviously, there's a lot of people who lived around cows longer than me. But like cows, just lay down. You know what I mean? Like, you're not tipping them over; they're on the ground.
That'd be
But
so
people
sad
believe
to see
it.
a cow get knocked over.
But it's
People
like a
think that cows sleep standing up for some reason. I don't get it.
The joke, like for all
movie.
Texas law enforcement,
literally
is
where it
like,
came
you know, when you work with the Rangers, like you make a joke about like, hey, you guys were created because of cows. So like it pissed them off. So it's like that's like the running joke in the law enforcement community in Texas. Is
Dude,
like
cows
But
are-
they were
do
made
have
like as
cattle
cow police first. Like that was like the main, because it was such a big deal back in the day. Well, like your cow was your livelihood. So it's like, yeah. But they get
Well, it
pissed
was the
if you bring
food
that
for
up.
the city.
Yeah.
So, you go back in the day and there's a cattle rancher with a couple thousand heads, and the city nearby is like, if something happens to that, we die. We die in winter.
Yeah.
So if you messed with them, if you were a cattle poacher or something, everybody's coming for you, because it's not just about the business owner. It's about, are we going to survive the winter?
Horse thieves too. They would kill them on.
They have a rich history. You can't be a ranger unless you were born in Texas. Like they have like all this like ceremonial stuff.
Isn't Scout Wiener the dude who wanted, like he wanted to pass that law where you could kidnap kids to trans them?
yes.
Oh, I figured out it was the Iowa guy lost, Republican Randy
Iowa, yeah.
Eenstra. That was
Yeah,
the guy, the Republican that
to
lost.
what's the guy's name?
I didn't get the other guy. But anyway,
Yeah, but-
about Wiener, what were you saying?
These West Coast states, Oregon, Washington, California, are passing these laws where you can kidnap a kid and trans them against the wishes of the parent, and the state will protect them, give them sanctuary.
Insane, dude.
And Hassan, I mean, I do think it's funny that Hassan is pissed about it, and I'm going to give it to him. I'm not going to rag on Hassan. He's mad at Wiener, who's a creepo, and at the end of the day, if we can align at least against pedos and creepos,
Yeah, no. I don't think Hassan is against Wiener because of those things. Hassan may be against Wiener because the other candidate is more progressive,
Yes.
or there was something that he preferred.
Yeah.
But I don't imagine that the other candidate would be like, no, you can't trans the kids or whatever. Like, it's just a matter of Hassan wanted to be more progressive, or if I would assume that Hassan.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's funny that he's going on what's being called a shocking homophobic rant, even though, like, you're right, the other candidate probably is largely going to agree anyway.
Yeah.
And if they got in, they'd be like, yeah, you can have gay sex in public, whatever.
I haven't talked about Hassan much lately, but I really believe he has been a LARPing communist, and it caught up to him. Like, he's been pretending to be. He doesn't really truly know what that means. If you tried to do a communist revolution, like the way that
Of course he does. He lives in like a $5 million
He
mansion.
identifies
in
as a democratic socialist. Him and Kyle Kalinske both identifies that.
Yeah, and then
Kyle Kalinske just went nuts.
And then
Like,
all of
at
a
least Hassan has maintained a level of, like, as bad as he is, he's been as bad as he is. Kyle Kalinske is like, I don't know. He had an embolism pop in his brain that just like fried his frontal lobe.
Hassan had a wake-up call last week or a couple weeks ago when the government started investigating, where they announced they were going to investigate him, and now he's been banned from the UK. Yeah. Like, I think he's realizing, like, don't play games on the internet. Like, don't mess with people about communism, bro. Especially about communism.
He's not. I don't think he's learned anything. He looks at himself as a victim, and he is going to use this to finesse people out of their money, because he's gonna be like, oh, I'm the victim here. The government's coming after me because they don't like what I have to say, and it's because of Israel and blah blah blah. He's going to use that as much as he possibly can.
He immediately started naming names right after they investigated him. He's like, he named the guy in China who's funding it.
That's because he's
like a canary. Like, look, it's a game to me, you guys. This is the real money. This is the guy who's been pulling all the strings.
I don't think it's a game to him. I mean, he went to China. He went to Cuba. I think that he really does have an affinity for communist dictatorships. He really does believe the things that he says, and he really hates America.
That is so weird.
I've watched a lot.
He
I've
made
watched.
so much money in this country.
Yeah,
working with his cousin at the Young Turks.
It doesn't.
Kind of.
uncle, his uncle.
It's interesting because like they're getting a taste of what it's like to be a conservative. It's like they got banned from the UK, and it's like, you know, oh my God, what's going on here? And it's like, yeah, welcome to being a conservative commentator, bro.
2 weeks
Like,
before he got banned, they banned 11 of Tommy Robinson's friends and fans. So,
dude, it's crazy because like they can operate on TikTok with impunity, Instagram, etc. Like I can't have a TikTok. I know you've had issues with them as well. Like, you know, they never deal with censorship ever. So it's like they get banned. Like, what's going on here? And it's like, it's funny because it's like that, you know, progressive ideology of like pro censorship is exactly what got him in trouble with the UK. It was the Labour Party, which is their functional equivalent of the Democrats and, you know, the J lobby, I know, are on YouTube, that, you know, were instrumental in keeping him and Cenk out. But it is that leftist ideology that
I don't think
censored him.
that's true at all.
Him and
They
Cenk
put
both
records
got-
on. They put those articles on it that it was the Labour Party and the J lobby.
But
In the UK.
2 weeks before, they banned pro-Israel, a handful of pro-Israel people from coming to the country too.
Who?
Tommy Robinson is massively pro-Israel and was bringing in a bunch of people for his rally, and they
Very much.
banned him as well.
Yeah, but yes, that is true. But he also
the issue is, are you going to cause problems for the established order?
woke.
So that includes Israel for sure, but that's not the principal reason.
Yeah.
It's like Hassan is a disruptive figure, and so is Cenk, and they're like, no, we want control.
What did Cenk do? That got
Same
him-
thing.
same thing.
Just talked crap about.
They,
He's
they,
not
they,
communist, though. He never-
Israel's a component of this. I'm not saying that's not the case, but they're an offense to established order, is like the way I describe it. So for them, it likely is the issue of Israel. But the principal issue is the UK is banning people they feel could disrupt their control systems. Right? So that includes Tommy Robinson's people.
They banned Ye too.
Oh,
yeah,
recently?
Same
that's
thing,
right.
They banned him as well for the same thing.
Didn't they ban some
they
other
lobbied.
rapper over pro-Palestine rapping? What was it?
No.
I know who you're talking about. He's British, so he was good. But like, I know who you're talking about. They canceled his tour in America.
He got banned from the U.S.
Yeah, they canceled his tour. Yeah, I know the guy with the dreadlocks. Yeah. But like, it was the J lobby that
Yahoo?
lobbied hard outside the
what?
Labour Party.
Only rapper I know.
You just mentioned a random.
No, there's a guy.
Bro, there's more black people with dreads than the one white Jewish guy.
Modest
with
Yahoo's
dreads.
the jam.
But the bottom line is like it's this lack of freedom of speech that the left practices all the time that came back to bite them in the ass because it's like
that's why
Hassan has been pro censorship for a very long time. Now he's getting a taste of his own medicine. He always
was-
like when someone gets banned on Twitch that's like a right winger, like get him out of here, blah blah. It's like
Exactly.
okay, dude.
He was never speaking up for you. He wasn't speaking up for Fuentes. He wasn't speaking up for Lauren Southern when she got banned. He didn't speak up for the Christina Gomez, I think is her name. The
Valentina Gomez.
Yeah, Valentina Gomez. He didn't speak up for her when she was banned from the UK. No one should feel bad for him. No one should speak up in defense of him. The UK doesn't have a First Amendment. They can do whatever they want. So Hassan can sit there and just cry.
They have they have a spoken constitution, an unwritten constitution, and free speech is a principle of it. And I would argue that we are lying to ourselves about the U.S. Constitution being, I'll go halfway with this. Obviously, there is something better in a written constitution. That's why the founding fathers had this debate, and I believe it was the anti-federalists were like, we have to write it down. But to be honest, like writing it down means very little.
Well, it's like you said earlier, the cops will only enforce a law in the city if they agree with the law in the city or if the people in the city agree with it. So the Constitution is like a guideline, but if the cops and
It's
the
not about-
populace doesn't want it,
It's not about the
no
cops
one's gonna
agreeing with it.
follow
It's about whether the cops feel like the public wants it
Right.
to happen.
Yeah.
So, for instance, we have the First Amendment in this country, right? But we're lying to ourselves to think there's any real protection of free speech. And I think you could make the argument on censorship and the J lobby or APEC or whatever. Yep. But we can easily just mention Cuomo shutting churches down in New York during COVID, or just COVID in general. The moment they decided to snap their fingers and tell you you had no rights, nothing happened other than your rights were taken from you.
I think that that's a 21st century development, and I understand that you're going to make the argument about when the founders first had blasphemy laws and stuff. But when the Skokie, Illinois topic came up in the 60s, whether or not the Nazis could march in Skokie, Illinois, that was kind of like the standard from 1965 or whatever until basically the turn of the century.
Yeah,
But no, it wasn't. George Carlin got arrested in the 70s for swearing.
Well, okay.
That's right. And I think, didn't Lenny Bruce as well?
I don't know.
Public obscenity laws were in effect.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't until the 90s. Even in the 90s, you did not have free speech. The public airwaves have been restricted since their inception, with the government regulating your right to say words.
Yeah, this
that
speaks
were offensive.
This speaks to an idea that, or my conception of freedom of speech. When it comes to freedom of speech, you can basically articulate any argument that you want to make, so long as you don't do it in a way that's intended to offend people. If you're delicate about the way you say things, like whether it be Israel or whoever else or whatever else, you can kind of get away with it. It's when you say things that are intentionally vulgar, intentionally trying to incite people, upset people, target.
Are you saying that's the way it should be?
I'm saying that that's generally the way that it is. Obviously,
I don't think so. I don't think that's ever been the case.
You know, articulating ideas.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's ever been the case.
I think you can kind of.
I think that in the early 2010s, people were getting censored from social media for posting crime statistics.
That's why I said up until the turn of the century.
In text, it's hard to.
Where are we talking like First Amendment? Or are we talking like policies with big companies?
I still think it's fair to say, like, even in the 2000s, if you wanted to hold a rally highlighting crime stats of the black community, you'd be rejected.
Like I said, that was after the turn of the century. So after 2000 is when kind of the woke people started to focus on, you can say this, you cannot share this idea. But prior to that, if you were delicate about sharing an idea or talking about ideas,
you're making arguments for a narrow determination on what speech is allowed.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think
in turn, then, we agree there has never been true free speech in this country.
Again, if you want to articulate it like that, that's fine. Then yes, I would agree with you. But I think the idea or the concept of free speech is more importantly about sharing an idea that is controversial, as opposed to the way that you're saying it. And I understand what you're saying, and I
it's not perfect. I think we got the best system, but it's not perfect.
I would argue this.
Free speech absolutum is a.
Do you think that in like 1995, if you wanted to rent get a permit for the National Mall for a NAMBLA rally, they would have permitted it? I don't believe they would.
No, I don't know. I'm probably not.
They would have found some reason to say, no, you can't do this. Ultimately, the point is, it's pretty fascinating to think, we talk about free speech in this country. In the 90s, the FCC, a federal regulator, which was created through an act of Congress and the executive branch, enforced law against people from speaking certain obscene words.
And showing things. There was butt crack on NYPD Blue.
Well, that's different.
It was the first time butt crack was ever shown on like network.
Indeed,
TV,
if you want to make an argument about images, there's a different argument there, because speech, one could argue about images. Right. But the point is, they literally would you would get fined for saying a naughty word. So where we are at now with the progressives, they think certain naughty words should not be allowed in the public space and on social media, and they're carrying on the tradition of political power, shutting down what is viewed to be obscene that has existed in this country since its inception.
I like Phil's take. I like it that you're saying it's about the intention, because I'll bring up some pretty racy topics and even say words where you're like, how did he get away with that? Because it's the way I'm saying it is with true intention of learning and helping.
To Tim's point about the, whether or not you have a NAMBLA rally, probably not, but you weren't going to go to jail for saying, look, I'm going to make the argument that
it's not about jail. It's about whether or not whether or not the government will act to restrict you in some way over your words, be it a calmly articulated opinion on news and politics or a vulgar and obscene tirade with slurs and insults.
I think the vulgar and obscene stuff is far more likely to get the attention of the state than a reasoned.
Look at the Satanic Panic. They censored board games. Magic the Gathering, famously. I've got one of the cards behind me. It's called Unholy Strength. The man is a pentagram, and because of Tipper Gore, they forced Hasbro to remove a depiction of what is meant to show evil.
But wasn't that after 2000?
No, that was 1993.
Yeah, it was early. It was in fourth edition.
In 1993, we were still dealing with Satanic Panic. And so you had elements of the government say, we cannot allow this. And it wasn't Hasbro at the time, I think. It was, it was probably Wizards, right? Yes. Wizards of the Coast. They had to remove because of the backlash. So this is the important thing about what enforcement
They didn't try to fight it?
What can you fight?
They did.
Bro, let me put it this way.
It happened pretty quick.
If let's say, maybe you're a little bit different, but for the average person who is selling, let's just say you've opened a flavored honey shop in New York City, and you've got a bunch of suppliers of various honeys from around the world, and it's all you're not political. All of a sudden, some high-ranking dude in the federal government just says, I hate you. I don't care why I hate you. I just do. I am going to destroy your life. You're like, bro, oh my God. It doesn't matter.
Sounds like me.
It doesn't matter if there's a law on the book. What matters is that this person in government, he says, I'm going to go to Congress and we're going to get a subpoena against you. And no matter what you say, you're going to prison for perjury. That's That's the power of government and law. This is the important thing that, like, the whole crux of this conversation and the point to be understood as it pertains to Hassan Piker. I'm for censorship. I've always been for censorship. What I disagree with is silencing someone's ability to express a legitimate political worldview. So censorship is like child abuse material, murder, crime. Like, we want people behind the scenes on social media to be removing that stuff because it should not be allowed. But this acknowledges there is a limit that people are willing to accept in what we're allowed to say. Someone might say, I think it should be the right of every American to show graphic depictions of gore and violence on these tech platforms because this is a natural part of the world and we shouldn't hide from it. In fact, there's probably some dudes who are like, we're a bunch of pansies. Kids used to grow up seeing murder and mayhem and animals mauling each other, and we've removed it. I think we should be allowed to show it. And so they hold up a big sign saying gore is should not be censored. I think it should be. I'm like, I don't think you should be going on public showing children depictions of like serious murder, death, conflict, war, that kind of stuff. I think it should be allowed, on social media spaces, but there is a line where I'm like,
Educational,
not with kids.
historical.
Yeah, not in front of kids. Not in front of kids. So out in public marching with a sign, I'm not okay with that. And the question ultimately becomes, are you willing to use power to enforce your moral worldview? And it comes down to this. In West Virginia, cohabitation, illegal. No one's going to enforce against it because the truth is no one cares.
Is common law marriage here a thing or no?
Common law, I think, is a federal thing for the most part, where you can choose to file jointly. I don't think it's anything like, I don't think they can.
I know some states, if you live together for long enough, they consider it common law.
But I think all that means is that you can file a joint claim. Oh yeah, for the purposes.
That's what I meant.
Maybe.
That's why I was asking. Yeah.
So here's the thing though. No modern American's morality is offended by the idea of a man and woman deciding to move in together.
Yeah.
It's just not. Some people, yes, but not enough
anymore,
to where the police feel like it's going to be an issue. However, where it gets interesting, most Americans oppose drag shows for and with children.
Yep.
The issue is the average American is terrified of far left terror and extremism, so they shut their mouths and let it happen. The right has been unwilling to operate in the way the left has operated. The only mainstream major political violence we've seen in the past 10 years on the right is January 6th.
Yep.
For the left, there's over 475 different incidents where mainstream left, I'm not talking about fringe extremists, I'm talking about when you take the liberal Democrat manifesto and the conservative Republican manifesto, apply that, and then ask, based on these worldviews, who commits violence? Republicans 1, Democrats 475 plus.
Yeah, I was literally having a discussion on this. I've always said that progressives are far more likely to go out, demonstrate, protest, get out there, you know what I mean? Actually, put some muscle behind their belief system. And a part of, progressive, it's literally in the name. They want to progress. A lot of times for them, they look at violence as a viable option to progress versus conservatives are trying to conserve what we already have. So progressives, it's in the name. Like, they're totally okay with violence. And someone made some argument like, oh, actually conservatives are more violent. We looked at the ADL and I'm like, dude, the ADL will go ahead and look at two white dudes fighting in a prison and consider that
no, it's worse than
violence.
That.
They literally had the stats.
I think it was Cato. A white supremacist who punched his wife was listed as white supremacist violence.
Yes, they literally use anything, dude. They literally two white dudes can find a prison and use it.
But my argument for that, maybe I'll appear on Jubilee and this will come up. My argument on that is, conservatives don't know how to have a conversation because everything exists in the liberal framework. So when someone says something to me like, when you like the right is more responsible for violence, my response is that my response.
I laugh when they say that.
Well, that's fine, but what does right mean? So is it meaningful to the American voter to include, I don't know, the 10,000 Klan members or white supremacists that is in this country with the mainstream Republican Party? And they can argue, yes, but I'll say, listen, Charlie Kirk kicked these people out of his events. He censored them. He agreed with you in that regard. So when you're talking about the right engaging in violence, and I don't care what your criteria, the extent of violence might be, like a white supremacist punching his wife, that's fine. Put it on the list. That has no bearing on the Republican Party because the Republican Party already condemned white supremacy. So when it's not meaningful to me in any way to include fringe leftist or right-wing elements. If there is a tanky wearing, like Revcom, Revcom?
No.
Revolutionary Communist Party.
Okay.
They wear boots and uniforms, and they actually goose step and march at protests. Now, As far as I know, they don't engage in any extreme violence. But my point is,
offshoot of Antifa or some kind
no,
of.
they're unrelated.
Okay.
They are like a fringe weirdo element on the left, and they organize. Now, if this guy punches his wife, and you put on the list saying a revolutionary communist engaged in an act of violence, I would respond the exact same way. What that man does has no bearing on what the Democratic Party says they want or their ideologies. Now, here's the thing. When you take a look at the motivations of the Democratic Party and their candidates, we see lots of violence. We see them saying Elon Musk is bad, the billionaires are bad, and what happens? They go and shoot up Tesla facilities.
Yep.
They say trans people are being genocided. What happens? A bunch of trans people go and shoot up schools. On the right, they say Donald Trump was unlawfully arrested, our borders are being opened. Not one instance of a Republican motivated by illegal immigration going to the border and trying to stop people from entering this country.
I think that a lot of right-wing violence is unseen. You might call it like the banality of violence, because it's like 136 school children in Iran getting killed with a drone strike.
How is that right-wing violence?
That's the
Hillary
military.
Clinton advocated for it the same. She's a Democrat.
Well, she's pretty hardcore. I should say, what would you call it? The established order, which happens to be right-wing.
Has nothing to do with the manifestos, the espoused ideologies of the Republican versus Democratic parties.
It's not
it is
really
not
right-wing
meaningful to
Well,
an American voter
the
when
Republican-
trying to decide which party to vote for to say that there is a neoconservative, neoliberal establishment that wants war.
Well, the conservative,
they'll all say we disagree.
The general conservative would be like, look, close the borders and let everyone outside starve. I don't care about them. They're not my problem. And the person on the left will be like, that's violence. That's the passive banality of violence I brought up when you're letting people die. That's nothing actively hurting them.
Let's go back to the conversation we were actually having about people motivated by an ideology to kill others. Okay, there's a big difference between saying, unfortunately, somewhere around the world people are dying, and Democrats saying, I'm going to get a gun and go shoot someone.
I mean, it's acceptable. You could argue
it's not violence at all.
Letting other people die.
It's not the definition of violence is an intentional act to cause damage to a person or a piece of property.
When you corral people in an area, or when you take their food supply away, you're starving them to death. They're dying.
War is violence. Agreed. Both Democrats and Republicans agree with war, and we're all mad about it.
You're doing the same thing that Democrats do all the time. They say that basically change the definition of a word to make it favor your argument. And violence is an actual thing with a specific definition. When you say, "Oh, we're not going to continue to send you food aid," that's not violence.
Well, the CIA calls it violence.
I don't care what the CIA.
Pull up the definition.
I don't care what the CIA. No, pull up the dictionary definition of the word violence.
The whole thing with the left violence or whatever. You look at like BLM right after the George Floyd incident, right? They can burn down Minneapolis, and did we see the same level of police presence and investigation on an unprecedented scale like January 6th? No. And I would say like for conservatives, the reason why there's two main reasons why like conservatives are not as active politically from like a physical sense. Number one, a lot of them have jobs, have families. They don't want to necessarily lose their jobs. They have things to do, a lot to lose. They tend to be a little bit older, more mature. And the other reason is because right-wing groups have almost always been infiltrated by law enforcement at a significantly higher level than the left. You look at Antifa, BLM, et cetera. They've been able to operate with almost impunity. Look at the ICE raids. They're out there in New Jersey,
they're
and Newark.
intentional law enforcement.
Yeah, so it's like they've been able to operate with a significant level of impunity compared to the right wing. And then again, I think it's almost etched into their ideology, because in order for us to progress, we must do anything by any means necessary, and that means violence for them.
I mean, it's very, very simple. Democrats say we need to shut. Right now, you've got Baraka in Newark trying to shut down the ICE facility, and you have far leftists attacking police horses and police engaging in violence. When Joe Biden was allowing millions to illegally enter the country, Republicans did not go out and riot and attack cops or do anything like this. The stated ideologies of each party, they are plainly visible. Conservatives don't get violent over these ideologies. There are fringe wacko elements of nationalism that exist on the right. Republicans condemn them. On the left, they embrace them. That's the point.
Well, it seems like there's a structure that the conservative people want to maintain, that's destroying and raping the planet, you could argue, 40 trillion in debt.
You'd be wrong.
But the people on the left want to break and destroy that structure. The people on the right are like, we just need to maintain the structure. So if we fight you, it all comes tumbling down. So we can't fight. But we know, I know that there's
okay. Can we just stop, because this is what you're rolling. If you have an actual argument, make an argument. But I feel.
About what exactly?
Like the idea that Democrat donors aren't billionaires who run big corporations is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
That's not what I said, though.
Yeah, you said the Republicans want to maintain a system that rape and pillages the earth, and the Democrats want it to
Generally, I
stop.
said
That's not true.
I didn't say Republicans. I said conservative people want to conserve
not-
the structure that they live within. The people that want to change it will get more radically violent to affect change with it.
And the changes they want to bring about are the same as what the status quo is. It's just a different power structure.
Well, the leftist revolutionary wants to break it. I've seen people like nihilists. And
You are incorrect.
But the conservative people want to maintain it.
Right, so let me clarify for you. The leftists want to control it, and the conservatives want to live in America under the existing power structures.
Well, they all want to control it.
Correct.
I think that
So the motivations of the left is built around destroying the
it.
traditional American system, and the conservatives is maintaining a traditional American
Right.
system.
So it's hard to fight against someone that wants to destroy. Like, how do you destroy? Like, it'd be getting into a fight with your friend in your house and throwing him into your wall and breaking your mirrors. Like, who wins? Nobody wins if you're destroying your own house.
Right. So your analogy is that there are two friends in a house, and one guy says, "This is my house. Please, I don't want to fight," and the other guy says, "I'm going to bash you with a frying
Pretty
pan."
much is
Right, and that's what the Democrats are doing, and the Republicans don't get violent.
I don't know if it's a political party thing. It's more about a leftism and rightism mentality.
It's not. The whole point is that both political parties have what's called a manifesto. They release these periodically where they explain the principal positions of the party. Over time, we have seen the Democratic Party adopt fringe far-left elements, including socialist and communist practitioners. In fact, they've incorporated the Democratic Socialists into the umbrella of the Democratic Party. From the ideologies espoused from the top down, from the political parties, the Republican ideology of we want secure borders, we want our manufacturing back, we do not see violence. On the left, we want trans kids, we want open borders, we see explicit violence to those ends. That's the point I'm making. Now, of course, there are violent right-wingers somewhere with some fringe ideology. There are violent left-wingers out there with fringe ideology. I don't care if Revcom punches his wife, and I don't care if a white supremacist punches his wife. If you want to call either of those political violence, there's no bearing on what that means for the structure of institutional governance.
You understand what I'm trying to explain is, like, if you had an opportunity and you're like, listen, you two, stop fighting, both of you, stop fighting, or I'm taking your food away. And the people are like, what? And you're like, okay, I'm taking your food away now. And then they start.
Who is?
If it's just the thing, you have two guys in a cage and you're feeding them. You decide one day, I'm going to take your food. And then they start smashing the walls of the cage. You can see how taking their food away is a violent act.
That is incorrect.
Well,
violence is defined as an intentional action to cause damage to a person or property.
Through physical force exerted for the purpose of causing damage or injury. So if you take
Indeed.
someone's food, that's a forceful act of causing injury.
I think you're stretching the definition.
Damn, but it's real. It's real. That's what they think is going on in Gaza. I mean, that's what they think the Israelis are doing to the Gazans,
Ian,
man.
the Democrats and Republicans agree on war and agree on supporting Israel. A bunch of pro-Israel candidates just won their primaries in Illinois. We've covered this. There is no distinction in the political party. Would you agree that political party-wise at the top, there's no distinction between their support for Israel?
Yeah, no, it's that they both sides support this.
And we are not seeing in the American
Democrats
streets.
are trying to slow it down a little bit, but they're still.
Well, that's the
enormous amount of
progressive
support.
element.
Yes.
Incorporated in it that is
Like the
challenging,
Myron
but they're losing.
Gaines and stuff like that, which I do predict that that's going to be the new strategy for the left. But I'll continue. Yeah, but basically in general, Democrats
I actually think the right
Democrats
will
and
adopt.
Republicans both, love Israel.
Yeah. The point
Traditionally.
is, both political parties at the top will say something like Israel is our greatest ally.
Yep. Passed with like 90% support.
Well, I did.
on
That's
both
why
sides.
I did elaborate that it's not. I'm not talking about Republicans, Democrats as much. You might be. I'm talking about leftism and rightism. The way that you will use it to. I mean, you could argue that far leftists will use a military machine, but they're more likely to break their own machine.
Was Che Guevara a peace-loving hippie?
No, he was
a
far
brutal
left
murderer. And people like Hassan Piker,
They love him.
they've called for more violence than anyone on the right.
Him and Mao.
They're not
denying that.
they're not saying you're violent. Hassan is a multimillionaire. He lives in a mansion in California. He wears luxury designer clothes and chains as he goes to Cuba to talk about the plight of the poor communist victims. These people are not interested in fighting for justice. They're fighting for more money and power for
The flip
themselves.
side is the dude sitting back, smoking a cigar, laughing about what's happening on TV as kids are getting blown up by their own tax dollars.
I kind of see both your perspectives here. My thing is, I think what we're kind of saying is like within the left, violence is a bit more caked into the ideology, because to progress, you inevitably have to like change things, and to change things, violence might be a variable that's needed. Versus on the right wing, right, you're there to conserve what you have.
I just think that the right is composed of Curtis Yarvin said it best, that Republicans treat power like a wine snob treats alcohol, and Democrats treat power like an alcoholic treats alcohol. Or yeah, right. So Republicans say, well, I find that to be just so appalling. I'm going to make a phone call. And Democrats are like, I'm going to throw a Molotov cocktail at your house.
Do you think Obama was like the last conservative Democrat?
I think Obama was I think George W. Bush was the last American president. Well, technically Trump is, because he wrestled the power back. But Barack Obama represented a spike in the back of America as a country in terms of its traditions and values.
Like it wasn't like that for the first 7 months.
Like Obama to me represents a fundamental shift in this country towards communism, like Marxism, cultural Marxism, critical race theory.
I agree. I've always said like Obama kind of started like a lot of the culture war problems we're fighting now, with gay marriage, BLM, all this stuff. Like he was the beginning of ushering that stuff in.
Yeah, I mean DACA is the greatest betrayal of this country in a long time, in my opinion. And I want to be careful how I
seeing
phrase
the
it,
problems
there's been
now.
many betrayals, don't get me wrong. But the idea that the president could decree a law that allows non-citizens to live here under under a decree. And then when Donald Trump said we reject this, and Donald Trump signed an executive order ending DACA, the courts said he can't do that, which is fake. If the president can create an executive order saying, do not enforce immigration law, the next president can say, start enforcing the law again. And the courts barred ICE from actually enforcing the law, which it makes no sense. It's unconstitutional.
Well, I can tell you this because I worked for the government both under Obama and under Trump. And like under Obama, but whenever there's a Democrat in office, they obviously really let their foot off the gas when it comes to immigration. And they're almost like not interested in doing any type of interior enforcement. And then people say, oh, well, you know what? Obama actually deported more people. Well, the reason for that is because more illegal aliens come into the country or attempt to come in. Therefore, they're apprehended and then they're deported. That's where those deportation numbers come from. But the real immigration enforcement is within the cities in the interior. That's where the work really happens. And that's what Trump was trying to do before, obviously, they stopped everything. But yeah.
Let's. I want to talk about Chud the Builder, but I do want to talk about. We'll get into that for sure, because we got an update on his bail. I want to talk about this story first. We got some TMZ. Rep. Anna Paulina Luna reveals to Jacob Wass that she was assaulted during the Capitol Hill protest. This is shocking to me. So what I first want to do is show you what Rep. Luna said, and then I'm going to show you the shocking assault video. And I'm telling you, your jaw will hit the floor when you see what was done to this rep.
Questioning Senator Rubio on Code Pink, which is a foreign-funded organization, and I've been going after FARA, etc. And so as I was leaving, they were asking questions. I don't have an issue asking questions, but when you were berating me and trying to block me from being able to come vote, it's an issue. But I continued to answer them. I was walking out of Rayburn, and as we were trying to walk away from them, I guess they didn't like what I was saying, so one of the lead organizers actually smacked me. And so at that point, I broke contact.
Can you reenact how you were hit?
I was literally trying to walk away from this person, and they smacked me.
In what part of the body?
They smacked my arm.
Are you injured right now?
I mean, look, either which way, you don't touch anyone, especially if you don't like what they're saying. She was
smacked. She was smacked. It is shocking. And we have the explosive video right here showing the actual assault, my friends. When you see this, my God.
The government can get money to keep the hospitals going.
To actually get aid to the people of Cuba, because it doesn't sound like you
Just wait
No,
for it. Just
because
wait.
Marco Rubio has been sanctioning the Cuban people, which is hurting them by the billions.
The government.
By the billions.
No, that hurts the people there. They have no power. You are misinformed.
When's the last time you were in Cuba?
Wait, you just touched me.
Oh, it was like, I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter. You just touched me.
All right,
You're going to
I won't do
walk
that.
away right now, or else I'm going to call Capitol Police.
Okay.
Don't touch me.
I will walk away. Bye-bye.
That's Medea
There
Benjamin.
you go. Wait. Bam.
She knows.
My God. Did you see that?
Whoa.
Did you see? Can we get that again? Look at this. That crushing blow Is that Medea Benjamin?
Yeah.
I don't think it is. Are you sure?
I think so. She's like the founder of
Look
Code
at that.
Pink, or one of them.
Left-wing violence.
My God, this Antifa terrorist communist nearly shattered the arm of Rep. Luna. She's lucky to have survived this encounter. Are you kidding me, dude? This is why I hate politics so much. And we're working on setting up like a DC studio because we want to bring, members of Congress in, have conversations. But are you kidding me? Am I supposed to pretend to support the Republican Party over things like this? Rep. Luna's like, I was smacked. No, you weren't. She tapped your shoulder to get your attention. My God. I hate politics. I hate politicians. They're all nuts.
She got PTSD from the strip club when they would smack her back then.
I guess.
I mean, it's.
Well, she doesn't like me anyway because I called her out when she introduced remote voting for Congress because she was like, women have babies, therefore they don't have to come to work anymore. And I'm just like, I'm so done with this, dude.
Wait, why are women voting?
Why are what?
Why are women voting? I'm just kidding.
Why aren't they?
I was gonna say, why are they voting?
She was fighting on Democrats because like we said babies, therefore we should have to come into work. And I'm like, then resign.
Yeah,
this is insane. Opening the door to remote voting, so she doesn't like me anyway. But but good. I mean, clearly she is a person of bad moral character.
I'm doubling. I think that is Medea Benjamin. I'm 100% positive. 99.99998. She's great. I've followed her work for 15, 20 years. She was very anti-war early on. I still think she probably complains about things that she doesn't have solutions for. So I'd like to debate her and get her head straight if I can. There she is again on the left. Code Pink, Medea Benjamin. Great. She'd be a great guest someday. And what she did there was like what you would do with a friend while you're talking about football or something. You're like, bro. And then you tap him on the shoulder. She obviously, and she knew immediately that legally she probably did step over a line.
This is, what I can't stand? Like I'm watching these Jubilee debates. Like Dave Rubin just did one and it's gone viral.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say this of Dave because I didn't watch the full thing. I just watched clips. But there are these conservatives that live in the world in a tribal reality where it's like, I must defend my side no matter what. Democrats do this too.
Yeah.
And so you watch, I saw this video and I was like, is she insane? The woman tapped her arm to get her attention because she was having a conversation with her. And then she said, don't touch me or I'll call the police. And what's going to happen now? They're going to use this. They're going to go to young people and say, look at what Republicans are doing. They lie about violence. They lie about the assault. And what they're going to say is, you know how Republicans are always claiming the left is violent? Look at this video of Rep. Luna. This is what they claim violence is, getting a tap on the arm. And then people are going to be like, wow, they're lying about everything.
It's important combo because it's not sustainable to reach out and touch politicians on the arm while you're walking with them.
Come on,
If somebody gets 50 people in a course of 7 minutes coming up and touching them, that's a big problem. So
scale is different.
It scales out of hand. So I get it that you're not supposed to, but she could have said it in a better way than I got assaulted or attacked.
Smacked. She didn't say assaulted. She got smacked.
Yeah, she said she put her hand on me and it wasn't cool. You're not supposed to do that. And she knew and she stood back. So no drama.
She touched me. Yeah, that's it.
Medea knew she isn't supposed to be reaching out and touching politicians. She's recoiled.
Bro,
I'm sorry.
are you joking?
Well, I think she knows you're not really technically supposed to reach out and touch someone on Capitol Hill while they're.
Yeah, you there's a difference between touching someone with intent to cause harm and in the course of a conversation tapping someone's
For sure.
shoulder.
If she intended harm, she'd be arrested right now. But
for Rep. Luna to say she was smacked is a lie. That elderly woman tapped her arm during a conversation.
Steel Man Luna. Maybe she was swinging her arm back kind of hard when
you saw the video.
Benjamin tapped her.
I just watched the video.
Smacky. I couldn't tell because her clothing was draping. I'm not saying this happened. I'm just trying to see
because her clothing was draping.
Yeah.
Second angle.
So how are we supposed to win a culture war with things like this?
It's exhausting, and it does make it makes Luna seem unsafe.
I have a solution for Myron.
What is it?
No women allowed to hold office anymore.
Dude, I've been saying that. Welcome to my world. Repeal the 19th, get them out of there. No more power for them. Only men. Put them back in the kitchen. This is all kitchen for
the problem.
Abandonment syndrome.
The problem is actually
woman.
The problem is not women. There are some base women for sure. The problem is we also have low T guys.
Yeah,
and low T guys are deferential in a lot of ways, and they lie. And
also,
they're almost worse, dude. They're almost worse in some ways.
So amazing that I want the world to know. And so, like Hillary, Bill really elevated Hillary Clinton to power.
Yeah, but that's because it's fake. Bill and I'd be willing to bet a large sum of money those people hate each other.
Billy and Hill.
Yeah, like these couple. Like I'd be willing to bet a large sum of money that like Barack and Michelle don't like each other either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
Like I would say I don't want to be too overtly biased. I would just say that a lot of these relationships are orchestrated for political purposes.
Absolutely.
Oh, the
Yeah,
Clintons,
absolutely.
I believe.
The one thing I'll give a pass.
Being married is huge for your political career.
Of course, like Tim Scott got married, and everybody called it. Everyone was like, "He's gay," and he's like, "I'm getting married" because he wanted to be VP. Yep. Now the thing about Trump is that he's been with Melania a lot longer than he was running for office, and he's doing it like the reason Donald Trump married her is because she's a hot Eastern European model. You know what I mean? Like
smart too. She knows a bunch of languages.
It's true. She's very intelligent, but not every marriage is for political purposes. But I think Bill and Hillary was.
I think so. They were both politically ambitious in college. I mean, they met in college. And
I think the issue was that Hillary knew she could not have executive power as a woman. So she was like, we need to work together. You're going to run. And then that's why she ran for Senate. She got a State Department job. And then she tried being president because it was her turn and Trump took it away from her.
There's a phenomenon where the guy gets obsessed with his wife, loves his wife, sees the power in his wife, and wants to elevate the woman to a position of social authority. But then she gets there and it's like, you're just, no offense, you're just a woman. Like, you're just a guy.
Sounds right.
That was substantially more brutal than anything Myron said.
I say you're just a
female.
Dude. It's not about like sex or whatever. You're just another random dude that happens to be female. But
hold on, I gotta throw this in there because I'm imagining like Myron debating Kyla or something, and you say something like women do this and they behave this way, and because of this I think this, and she'll be like, yes, women may behave that way, but also women can do this, and then Ian goes, you're just a woman.
Yeah. And then we just show the book. This is why you guys deserve less. You know, so it's just
like the insinuation from that statement is a complete stripping of all.
Yeah.
He's arguing key points. They're not good at. You just flat.
Yeah. You're a female. Done.
I mean, though, is I've been with girls where I became so in love with them that I wanted the world to see them, but they weren't that great to the rest of the world. Just to me.
We call that cucking. Did you guys see the Jerry O'Connell clip?
The which clip?
The Jerry O'Onnell clip.
No, I didn't see it.
From Jamie Kennedy's show.
I didn't listen.
Bro, he's like,
we'll pull it up if you want.
He's like, let me see if I can get this one. It was from
calling me a cock.
I think I got it right here actually. Yeah, I think this deserves its own segment. So let me give me a little bit, and we'll wrap up this point. Like wrap up point before.
That's pretty much it. That sometimes inadvertently guys will put their woman into positions of authority because they love them so much, but the rest of the world's like, why is it this chick?
No,
like, what the?
I mean, I assume that's true, but in the case of Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, I don't think that was the case. I think that Hillary Clinton had her own ambition. She was an extremely ambitious woman, or is. So yeah, I don't think it was just Bill being like, "Let me show off my girlfriend."
Yeah, I think Bill. I mean, come on, like Bill was probably banging a bunch of people on Epstein Island. You know what I mean? Like he didn't care about Hillary.
Yeah,
he was just like, I just want to bang women. Oh.
Stoner with a law degree. Did you pull up that?
Yeah.
Jerry.
Yeah, let's grab this. We got this clip from Jamie Kennedy's show, which is taken off. Like, what is this? It's got millions, 2.2 million views. Jerry O'Connell went on Bill Maher and said that his wife beats him whenever he says anything pro-Trump, and so now he's being called a cuck, and he makes some very vital mistakes in this interview. He actually asks Jamie, as a joke, to come and bang his wife. The problem is someone's going to clip it out of context where he literally says, please come, you know.
Well, you were scared to come on this pod.
Yeah, I was. I said I wasn't going to do it because I said I'd never give up. I said I was never doing podcasts again. For those who don't know, I was on Bill Maher, and a couple things. I talked about my family.
I didn't lip it.
I talked about my wife, and I talked about their reactions politically. You know, I shouldn't have done that.
What you did was you said that if you said something positive about Trumpy.
No, I never said that.
But you said something.
No, I never said that.
You were going to get beaten.
I never said.
And flogged.
I never said anything positive about Trump. I never said.
No, but
that.
you said if you said, well, he did one thing
said
positive.
Something. Anyway, I'm going to tell you what happened.
Tell me.
MAGA, the force known as MAGA, which is abbreviated for Make America Great Again.
Yes.
Really came after my wife and children in comments.
Really?
Yes.
Well, you said that they basically beat you up.
They did not. I take that back. I fully take that back. I was making a joke. MAGA, they for some reason in my comments call me a F-word cuck. Okay?
Cuck.
An F-word cuck. Okay? And you're not going to say the F word here. I know you said the P word, but an F word cuck. And I don't mean a fucking cuck. I mean the other F word.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Rhymes with.
Don't even say it.
Okay.
So that's what they call me. So let me just tell all the MAGA people who've been in my comments and my wife's comments. By the way, my wife never goes on social media. She now gets like all these notifications from people saying your husband is an F word cuck.
You got the hottest wife. How could that?
They also
Call you an F.
They love mentioning that I probably like to watch my wife's ex having relations with her. Like,
well, that's what a
by the way,
cuck is.
Jamie, you've known me longer than anyone in Hollywood.
Did well.
Have you ever known me as someone who likes to watch, would like to watch my wife having sex with another man?
No.
Do you think I would ever call you and say, Jamie, would you come over and have sex with Rebecca Romaine so I can sit in this chair in the corner and watch you guys have sex? Do you think that would ever come out of my mouth?
No.
It just did. And now I guarantee you people are going to clip that. And it's just going to be him saying, Jamie, would you come over to my house to bang Rebecca so I can sit in this chair and watch? Wait,
And you never have.
And you've heard me on this show say how attractive I find Skeet Ulrich.
Yes, you have.
Do you think I would ever call Skeet and say, Skeet, do me a solid and come over and have sex with my wife so I can watch you guys?
Debatable.
Would you say I'm an F word cuck?
No.
So stop writing that in my comments and my wife's comments. And by the way, my daughters are findable on.
There's no way he doesn't know what he's doing. I think his publicist said, this is going to get you famous.
Yeah.
It's going to boost your Q rating. Everyone's going to be talking about it. There's like in your circles in progressive Hollywood, nobody likes MAGA. Go for it.
A little interesting. Oh, go ahead.
No, there's going to be clips of him going around begging men to bang his wife.
A little interesting Easter egg in there if the story's real, but it does align with reality anyway. Notice how like the fight kind of started just because he maybe insinuated one good thing about Trump. That's like what I've noticed about people. You better not say anything good about Trump ever. And it's like, dude, like I can concede when Democrats do good things. Like I can say like, oh, well, I agree with this, even though overall I don't agree with that. Like I can give a Democrat a compliment, but it's like for them on that side, it's like if you even say anything about Donald Trump, that's positive. They're like, no, we're gonna shun you. Oh, it's like Trump derangement syndrome on a whole other level.
You know, I think he's lying too.
Probably for some effect, but
because like if you go to his Instagram, he's got 640K followers, but like I pull up one of his latest posts, it's got like 100 comments, and it's just his fans. They're like, "We love you, Jerry. You're great," and I'm like scrolling through it. I don't see anybody calling him a cuck or anything like that.
He's been editing his thing.
But Jerry,
no, I think what happened was after the Bill Maher thing exploded and it went massively viral, they probably saw in social media like your name has popped up in like 7 million searches since that podcast. Why? Like because you said your wife beats you, and they were like, "This is good for you. It's name recognition." So they probably set this up. Go on a podcast, revel in it. Say 2 big quotes, bro. I'm willing to bet his PR guy was like, "You need to say." In some context, Jamie, will you please come to my house and bang Rebecca? That way people can make clips go viral. And you can always say, oh, that's out of context.
Yeah. Well,
he's funny, by the way, and I think it was a bit. I think it was very good.
He seemed like he was enjoying it. It does seem like
right. He says it twice. And like, he knows what he's doing.
It's part of why he's a good actor is because his brain thinks like that, or it's intentional, and he's doing it for clips.
What's a repair person?
Like a repair person?
Yeah, no. It's another. No. Listen to this.
Like a handyman?
You're not a puss.
He kept calling me a woke P word.
Are you woke?
If by woke you mean I'm like a progressive Californian, yeah. I guess I'm woke. If I'm woke, if I call someone a repair person,
but you're not really doing that.
What?
Are you really doing that?
Am I really doing what?
Saying the word repair person.
I said it. I'm on.
But are you doing that to look okay with Calabasas, who, by the way, I think there's probably not less woke people out there. Are you doing that to look good to casting directors, or you actually believe that?
What does that mean?
To casting directors.
Yeah, he called.
Is that like Gen Z slang that I don't know?
Repair person is like instead of a repairman, they're saying repair person.
Oh my God, dude! Wow,
like an impregnated person.
I was like, is this a word for someone who was otherly abled and is now regularly abled?
You can see that Jerry's like, oh, actually, you called me on it. I don't really think like that, but yes, I'm doing it for kids.
Incredible. Like, dude, we didn't even catch it because we're like, what? And it's just, but it's like, yeah, in LA, it's like they're so sensitive to like that.
A repair person.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
Because I guess saying a repairman would be sexist, right?
Too assumptory.
Dude,
Fire.
I think we should
women
make
don't
it,
repair anything. Let's
you
be
know,
honest.
you know,
Like,
you know, I think we
repair
should do?
woman?
No. I think we should just make it as vulgar as possible, like a repair dick and a repair puss. Just go straight for it.
I can't because we're on
Because
TV. I was about to.
there was another word I was going to use, but
we'll
it's
save it for the
inappropriate.
after show.
We'll save it for the after show. My point is just like, guys, I don't care if you're offended. Shut up.
I mean, either.
It's wild,
and this comes
dude.
back to the whole free speech thing. Really, free speech is about what's your intention. Are you intending to offend them or not? That's what
I don't care.
matters. But if someone else gets to determine what they think your intention was, if they get to choose, well, I was offended, therefore what you said is a problem, that's kind of antithetical to the United States Constitution.
I can't control if you're offended by words, so I don't
Like the
care.
fact that we didn't even catch on in the beginning, like repairman versus repair person,
I
blah,
didn't
blah. It
get
just
it.
goes to show like how crazy we are in society where it's like they're paying so much attention to like little phrases like that.
I
and
didn't
gender
understand what
misquotes
that word phrase meant. I was like, what is...
Yeah, no, I was with you. I thought it was
an
like some weird insider term, but it's
Yeah.
like, no, it's like literally you got to say repair person, not repair man.
Yeah.
But women, let's be honest, no, women don't repair anything. When's the last time you seen a female plumber? I'll wait. Like come on, dude.
I'll
Like,
wait.
Women don't fix anything, dude.
Don't.
Never seen a female plumber.
I've seen female cops let criminals go.
Yeah. Funny story for you. Speaking of female plumber, we had a girl come on our show and she went to plumbing school and there's a test. There's a test where you have to like have a certain level of strength to be able to like pull a wrench or something like that. And she failed. And they still passed her because she was a woman.
Of course.
Oh, that
Well, I think it's an important thing to understand is that the highest grip strength among women is below average for men. Like this is an important this is scientific. I'm not trying to disparage women. There is a graph of age and grip strength by age. The strongest women are below the average male grip strength for every age demographic.
Oh yeah. I mean I tell women
This
all
is
the
why
time.
guys open pickle jars.
I tell women all the time that come on the show, I was like, look, dude, like you do realize like a teenage boy can beat you up, right? Like you do realize that. And they're like, because some girls are like ghetto and they think that they can fight a
You
gym.
see the video where it's like 3 Marine women versus 3 scrawny, weak men?
No, I didn't see that. No.
I did like a reaction to it and got a bunch of views. It was there's.
Is it quick? You want to play it now or
Let me see if I can find it.
find it?
I wonder if that's why guys are, they say, oh, you throw like a girl because it's the grip of the ball. Like you're gripping it so
Well,
hard. And
it's,
then
it's upper body strength.
it's
Wait,
more
they
than
make
just
it.
grip.
He made a bunch of these. He just keeps doing it because he's getting 1 million views from doing it.
Probably.
Oh, Jerry?
It's no. It's Austin Alexander. Military women versus skinny Joes. Who's stronger?
Biological.
Who do you think's going to win? The military
I
women.
didn't see this.
The military women or the regular guys? Any predictions?
After the intro, I think it's going to be the guys.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's
The women might win some events.
Squeeze.
It's literally just the guys.
Except Charlie. Fight for some reason. Squeeze. 120 pounds. Good squeeze, Charlie. So far, the guys' total is 394.4 pounds. Y'all's total is 227.4.
These are women that work out.
These are military
These
women.
are military women. You can see, like, you can tell that they're developed too. Like, yeah, these
You can
chicks
do it,
work out.
Stephanie.
Like, look at their shoulders.
You're a
Like,
boxer.
She
You're a
ain't gonna
fighter.
do it.
Come on, Steph.
Squeeze as hard as you can. Squeeze.
Let's go.
143
That's not bad.
pounds. Skinny Joe, take it for the championship.
It's like-
The skinny Joes were just like guys who don't even work out.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. Why are women offended by the idea that men are stronger than like what happened in society where there are women who are offended at the idea that men are stronger? For 50,000 years, unless you're Christian, 5,000. Women are just like, men are stronger than us.
I think-
And guys were like, we're stronger than women. And now all of a sudden in modern society, women are like, I'm as strong as a man if I just exercise.
Maybe
Like,
it's just
not.
feminism lying to him for 30 years.
that's a big part of it. I would say it's because like we've civilized the world so much where it's like women can like literally like just sit in air conditioned rooms and have a job and like they don't really understand how like the world works. So like it's just naivety, bro. It's naivety.
Like one of the
It's what it
worst
comes down
things
to.
ever. There was they do this periodically, these news publications, because they're run by women. They were like, new data finds that what was it the story? Oh, I should do a bigger segment on this. It said that the temperature in offices is a relic of the 1970s before women came into the workplace, and everyone just tolerates it because that's the way it's always been. And I'm like, that was written by a woman because that's not correct. Men like men. There's an image included where it showed the natural body heat, and the guy is 10 degrees hotter than the woman. Like literally, muscles produce more heat, and so men die faster in the wilderness than women do. And it's also less body fat. The reason why it's colder in offices is because men feel hot, and they can't take off their clothes. And then you get these feminists who are like, we should turn the heat up. It's not fair that it's cold. Men are doing this and it's sexist. And it's like, okay, let's do a compromise. Guys can get naked because they don't want to walk around in 72 degrees, or you could put a sweater on. What do you want to do?
Shirtless?
Guys walk around in boxers with fans on.
I say control the temperature, control the world.
I say women can put a sweater on. I can't take my clothes off. Just put your sweater on and shut up.
Yeah, working creates a lot of heat. If it's just your brain, even if I'm just playing guitar, my whole room's, I start to sweat. I'm like, it was like I was shivering when I walked into this room, and I'm sweating now. And that's after like 20 minutes or 30 minutes sometimes. Like if it's an intense, because if you're clenching, if all your muscles are clenching while you're making the noise,
This is what I'm talking about. The thermostat in your office may be sexist. Scientists urge updating office temps for women and seniors. No.
Space heaters.
Wear a sweater.
Yeah,
wear a
you gotta
sweater.
Always wear a sweater. Look, I'm wearing a freaking jacket right now because Tim likes it cold in here.
No one wants to see your
It's not that I like it cold in here.
No, we
it's
have to
that-
run it cold, actually.
It's that the computers, the lights, the cameras overheat.
True. And you're wearing a beanie.
That's not the issue. The
And
right,
you're-
it's 64 degrees
Two
outside.
layers on. I know.
And the air conditioning's on because in this room the cameras overheat.
That is true.
We experienced it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like it happened on IRL like a few months ago. The camera just shut off because it got too hot.
Yeah. Sony's are notorious. I use the same cameras.
Yeah.
They're notorious for it.
So
Yeah.
I once had to I have this little fan down here, and we had to put it up on the power rack and place it over the camera to stop it from overheating.
Yeah. I got the same ones. Sony's are notorious.
Indeed, but we also have the computers. They generate a lot of heat, so even if it's 30 degrees outside, like it's a dead winter, this room starts getting really hot from the lights in the computers. So in the winter, the AC is running.
Yeah,
Indeed.
every day, literally.
Although it might be easier just to get like a vent to the outside in the winter, but that's it. Let's talk about Chud the Builder, because Myron's here.
Poor Chud.
We got this from WKRN. Bond remains at $1 million for Chud the Builder shooting case in Montgomery County. Dalton Earthley, the online streamer of Chud the Builder, appeared in Clarksville courtroom at a bond hearing Wednesday afternoon. He was scheduled for a 9:15 appearance in Davidson County General Sessions Court before Judge Melissa Blackburn, but he did not appear. A transport for Earthley was reportedly arranged from Clarksville, blah, blah, blah. He's charged with, He was charged with 3 misdemeanors for theft, resisting arrest. Was that what that was for? They're holding him over that, not the attempted murder?
I think that was what
was another case.
Right. And I'm saying, is that what they're keeping him for? I maintain my position. Chud the Builder is going to get locked up forever.
You think so?
This is a big test right now in the culture war, the strength of woke currently, right? Derek Chauvin was unjustly put in prison.
Agreed.
They tried to murder him.
Needs a pardon.
And no, he does not.
You don't think so?
The reason why he's been federally charged to protect him. If he is put in a Minnesota state jail, they'll murder him.
Oh, you mean in that? I meant complete pardon. I meant like release.
Right,
yeah.
Free Derek
You're going into the technicality of like, yeah, if he goes in state prison, it'll be a problem. I see
Right.
what you mean.
People have been asking Trump to pardon Derek Chauvin, and prominent conservative personality.
You need the governor and the president to do it. Yeah, you need the president and the governor. Yeah.
The federal charges are to keep him from being murdered in state prison.
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah.
But yes, in the case of Chauvin, he showed up
And the
after
federal
the fact.
case only really worked because the state case worked. Because they got him on like color of rights law. Like
I
it's
think
like
the federal
a very-
case only exists to keep him from being murdered.
You can make that argument, but I'm saying like
I
the
think
federal case got more teeth because the state case won. You get what I'm saying? Because it was deprivation of color of rights. So like that's what they
perhaps.
Yeah.
But I think the federal charges wouldn't exist unless there was an attempt to keep him from being murdered. Like
You can make that
the
argument.
government can just convict you and make shit up.
Yeah, you can make that argument.
So Chauvin shows up after the fact. Yeah. Floyd was already resisting arrest, was already chewing a speedball, had already committed a crime. Chauvin shows up.
2 crimes.
Indeed. Chauvin shows up. He's already on the ground. So he has no idea what's going on. And then he decides, I'm going to use a restraint that I was trained to use, that the prosecution acknowledged he was trained to use. And by all means, you can be upset at the training and how it was done. But the fact they put the Asian cop in prison for the rest of his life for simply standing there holding his hands up for the crowd shows it's all fake. Now, here's the point.
He got hit federally too.
All of them did.
Well, yeah, all of them, yeah.
Now we're in the case of Chud the Builder. And I think it's easy to say Chud has a history of antagonizing people, walking up to black dudes, acting up, but they don't result in shootings or like hardcore beatdowns. The issue is, in the initial case with Chud the Builder, and this whole case is a big question about the current strength of woke and where we are as a country. The argument made in the initial story was that he was leaving court armed. Some guy had words. He had words with the guy. A fight breaks out. Chud shoots him. My initial reaction is attempted murder is ridiculous. Like, if a fight breaks out, the idea that Chud intentionally approached this for the purpose of killing a guy is ridiculous. Maybe you get him on some like reckless discharge or negligence, something like this, or, assault with a deadly weapon, maybe. But attempted murder is insane. The implication there is that Chud walked up to this guy believing, I am going to kill this man. Now, here's the important thing. New information has since come out that indicates Chud was actually attempting to disengage from the guy before the guy jumped up and hit him, which creates again, we don't have not all the evidence has been released, but this changes everything.
I can quickly go through the fact pattern.
Yeah, go for it.
So here's the fact pattern. Basically, he was there for a civil case there, and the other guy, Josh Fox, was there.
No, it was a criminal case, wasn't it?
Civil. For Chud, he was there for a civil reason. I think it was like some debt or something like that.
Yeah, that was criminal. Chud didn't pay a bill, and they charged him with theft. It was a criminal case.
I think it was a civil case, but that's neither here nor there.
He was theft, a misdemeanor charge of theft under $1,000.
He wasn't there for that case. He was there for another case that was civil before that with owning money.
All right.
But he did have a criminal case at the same time a couple days prior. Yes, you are correct about that. But why he was there on that particular day was for a civil case, from what I understand. But either way, neither here nor there. He's there. He's in a suit, etc. He's streaming. He walks by. He sees that this guy named Josh Fox, or aka Joshua Love on Facebook, points and they laugh. He walks over and says, "Hey, how you guys doing? You like my suit?" They're like, "Hey, get the F out of here," whatever it may be. He's like, "Okay." It's important to know that he was streaming it the whole time on a website called Pump Fun, whatever, maybe some streaming service that does crypto.
Pump.fun, I think.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I say that because it's going to come relevant later. And then the guy says, "Get out of here." He walks away. As he walks away, the guy engages with him, and something to the extent of, I have PTSD. If you say the N-word to me or you say chimping out, we're going to have problems, blah, blah. He gets in Chud's face, says it, and then Chud is like, or what, you're going to chimp out, and then the guy strikes him, right? So he closed distance to him. Now, in the criminal complaint that an investigator wrote, apparently he took a bladed stance like this as the guy was coming towards him to aggress. Yeah, and they're trying to say like, well, he didn't pull out the weapon, but he was, I guess, reaching in his jacket or whatever.
Yeah.
Which, Tennessee, for those, just to say, it is a stand your ground state, so you have no duty to retreat, which is important to know. So he comes up, punches him, the camera falls, and you don't see anything from there. You just hear gunshots after. Now, the investigator, when they had this bond hearing about 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, and they showed the footage as well in the courtroom. And this is how I know the fact pattern here I'm saying is correct, is because multiple people that were at the courtroom told me that I was correct. The investigator admitted that the shots were fired as they were going down. Now, anyone that understands like firearms and self-defense in general, getting in a street fight, going to the ground is the worst thing you could do, especially if you're armed. So there was also some talk about him potentially being in a headlock, which kind of makes sense because I was wondering, how did he shoot himself? Because if you guys look, he has a mark on his left side.
Like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He has a mark on his left-hand side, which is indicative of like if you're in headlock and you're right-handed.
Holding a gun over his arm.
Exactly. So that makes sense, and that's his defense attorney is the one that said that he was in a headlock, and then the investigator is the one that said as they were going to the ground, that's when the shots were fired. So with that fact pattern, I'm like, okay, well, the guy closed the distance on him. Yep. It's a stand your ground state. He made some comments. I have PTSD. You say that stuff around me. You can infer PTSD, veteran. Well, you're in the military. You're trained to kill people. All of these different factors come into play when it comes to self-defense. And I think the most important thing here, because a lot of people, it's a very emotionally charged case, and I've gotten in so many debates about this, it's not about do you like Chud or 20/20 hindsight. It's about, did Chud act reasonably given the facts and circumstances at the moment he pulled the trigger? I would argue he has a good case.
I disagree.
Okay, why so?
This case is about, can a white man who shot a black man avoid jail time?
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm talking about from a legal perspective. If we want to talk about it culturally, how it's going to actually play out, that's fine.
That's what the right likes to do. The left just says, well, he's white, go to jail. Like Derek Chauvin, it's like, he's a white guy. Let me say this Trayvon Martin.
Well, let me say
like this. Zimmerman's a white guy. It's like, well, he's not. He's Hispanic. No.
Zimmerman got off though, and Zimmerman got off even though he didn't. Trayvon Martin didn't have a weapon. So if you can articulate that, you're in fear of your life.
There was a photo of Zimmerman with blood all over his face.
Well, that plays into it.
But
that plays
peak
into
woke
it.
didn't
Reasonable
happen
fear.
until 10 years after Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin was the beginning of Black Lives Matter.
Yes, I agree.
So if this guy,
But it factually is. That's
I
the
agree.
protest movement, Black Lives Matter, started after the killing of Trayvon Martin.
Yeah. Like, and that's when we started to see, and this is what I was going to say. This is when we started to see politically charged prosecutions, where like the state and the federal system is completely different. As a guy that came from the federal system, I can tell you guys, and AUSA is not bringing charges unless they know that they can win in court. Like by the time you're testifying in a grand jury to get a grand jury indictment, you're prepared for trial. The feds are very buttoned up when it comes to their criminal cases, but when it comes to the state, they're not as tight and refined. Now, when it comes to politically charged cases like this, where you got a white and a black person and it's very divisive, the state typically errs on the side, let's charge it, let's bring it to a grand jury, let them decide. If they do get a true bill, cool, we'll take it to trial. If we lose, at least we can say we tried. Because after the George Floyd situation, they don't want to see their cities lit up on fire, or a race war because of it. So they look at it like charge, let the grand jury and the people decide.
So in this situation, if this dude came up, like the fact patterns you were eliciting there, comes up to Chud, who, by the way, Chud, get your real name out there and shave your mustache because you look like one of those boxers from 1920 with the
Fighting
pincers.
Irish?
Yeah. So this guy comes up to him and is like, look, I got PTSD. You say chimping out to me one more time, and I'm going to go nuts on you. And then Chud says it again.
He says, then he said, or what? You're going to chimp out, and then he punches.
So he says, or what? You're going to do the thing that you said not to do, and he does it. Does that not stand your ground? Isn't that more like he's aggressing back at the guy by saying the word the guy just told him not to say?
One more time, or did you say, if you say chimping out to me, then I'll...
The guy, from what Myron just said, the guy
point
comes up
is he
and says,
basically
if you
came
say
up to
chimping
him-
out again, I'm going to attack or do whatever. And then Chud the Builder says it again.
Yeah, he said, or what? You're gonna XYZ. So like, and some people have made some arguments to oh, well, those are fighting words. No, that's not fighting words. Even the N word in of itself, it needs to be put in a way where it's an eminent force or
you have to
eminent
use
force
it with the intent.
Exactly.
Right. So
where if eminent force is where force is imminent. Excuse me.
There was a video where there's this guy tabling at a university or whatever, and some dude walks up and says, "You called someone the N word." He's like, "I did not."
Yep.
And then the young conservative explains he was talking about how people use the N word, and he said it, and then the guy starts swinging and punching at him. That's not provocation. Provocation would be if you walk up to someone and call them the N-word. Now you're in shaky grounds for self-defense. So
yeah, I mean, typically the person that closes the distance is the aggressor in most stand your ground and or self-defense situations. But in this thing, I think again, let me be clear about this. Am I a fan of nuisance streamers? Whatever. Yeah, they can be entertaining and everything else like that. But when it comes to this case, I'm looking strictly at the facts. I think he has a strong self-defense case. I see your perspective where it's you
getting locked up, bro.
You're saying look,
he is locked
regardless of the facts of the case, you're looking at it hey, it's politically motivated. He's going to get convicted or whatever. This is where the attorney's got to be good. His defense attorney had a whole discussion with this with Andrew Branca. His defense attorneys got to work to ensure that very little from Chud's streaming stuff comes in, and that it's objective based on the facts that occurred on that day. Now, with that said, is some of it going to come in? Yes. But if it does come in, Joshua Love's stuff is also going to come in, because in January he posted on Facebook, if I find this Chud guy, I'm going to fight him and push my Twitch career. Yeah.
This is the actual guy?
Yes. Yep. Yes, this guy. Yeah.
Interesting.
From his perspective, it was definitely premeditated.
Yeah.
From Chud's perspective, we don't know.
Who he is.
Yeah. He might. We don't know if he didn't know.
Well, the presumption is innocence. We can't assume he did. If there's no evidence, we presume he did not.
Yes, but
we do not introduce the idea that Chud was aware of who this person was unless you can present any kind of evidence.
Yeah. Well, if he did know, it would help his case potentially, because he can make the argument, oh, I saw this guy, he threatened to hurt me, blah, blah, blah. That's why I reacted the way that I did.
Yeah, but I don't think he needs that. I mean,
we don't know. We don't know.
If this dude, are you sure that's the right guy?
100%. Yeah. It was his Facebook profile. He goes by Joshua Love on Facebook, but his real name is Joshua Fox. And this is the same guy that tried to, do arson and, burn a house with his wife and his child.
For all I know, he was standing outside the courtroom on purpose waiting for Chud.
He was there for, I think, some child support stuff. He was there for child support, and Chud was there for a civil matter.
So confluence of events, but this guy had already publicly stated that he was going to hurt Chud the Builder, and then he hurt Chud the Builder.
In January, yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Because he made a comment that he never comes on our side of town, but if I do see him, I'm basically going to antagonize a fight and get my Twitch career popping off.
Wow.
See, and these are facts that no one talks about, right? So and I spoke with a couple people that actually were in the courtroom at that hearing where they played the video, and they said, yes, what you said is pretty much spot on, and that's what occurred. But I see where you're going, Tim. You're look,
You get
can have
locked
a strong
up, bro.
self-defense case, but like, hey,
$1 million bond.
is he going to get a? Yeah, and that's ridiculous too. By the way,
Yeah, it's insane.
There was someone that got a $250,000 bond that literally killed someone. Murder
but
one.
even if
Insane, dude. Insane.
Even if this is a case where Chud is guilty and is the aggressor, attempted murder is an insane charge.
Yes, but I will say
Assault with a deadly weapon, maybe.
This is what it's going to be. His defense, and this is what Branco was saying as well when I was speaking with him. Really, for those that don't know, Andrew Branco, fantastic self-defense attorney, one of the best in the country. The goal for the defense is going to have to work to keep as much stuff out about, from Chud's, streaming or whatever, to make sure that there's nothing unduly suggestive or, will taint the jury or whatever. Obviously, the entire voir dire process of bringing jurors in, you're going to want people that aren't familiar with who he is. But if they do that, he did mention that if they do that they can, obviously Josh Fox, his background is going to have to come in too. And I suspect that he's going to have to be the state's star witness in this. And he didn't get arrested either, which is interesting.
Let me tell you this. Sarah Fields is covering the Carmelo Anthony trial.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's another big one.
She said, Juror 142 said, quote, "I don't know that I would feel right putting a brother in jail."
Well, he should be dismissed.
Yeah.
Of course. He probably was. The point
There was
is...
a BLM guy in the Chauvin trial, like, for a jury. And I was like, this is...
They were lying.
Yeah.
The point is this, Ian. A jury system exists for a people. And we as the United States, we are not a people. Black people don't... Like, this guy said it. And this is a common sentiment among black people in the United States. They're like, I'll put a white guy in jail. I want put a black guy in jail. They actually, we had a study on this. We talked about it on the show. White people have zero bias based on race in criminal justice. Every other racial minority would intentionally get a racial minority of their own of their kin off. They would say not guilty.
And those study on?
So we talked about. So I think it was last year. There's a study where they tracked white jurors, and found zero racial bias. Then they tracked Hispanic, Asian, and Black and found pure racial bias. For Black people, if you're Asian, white, Latino, or otherwise, you're guilty if you're guilty. If you're not guilty, you're not guilty. If you're Black, not guilty no matter what. For Mexicans, if you're Mexican, not guilty no matter what. If you're Asian, not guilty no matter what. White people, if you're white, Black, or otherwise, you're guilty if you're guilty. You're not guilty if you're not guilty.
Yeah. No, but it is insane though, because they compared all the different people that got bond in that court in that same jurisdiction, and Chud has by far the most expensive ever, 8 times the normal. And there's people that were convicted PDFs, murderers, etc. They're getting $100,000, $250K bond, and for Chud. And then he had his bond hearing today, and apparently the judge ruled no bond because every person that posts bond can only post $100K. So he needs 10 different bail bondsman companies basically to put up $100,000. Because Dual put up the $1 million. They have it. They put up the $1 million, but the judge said no. The limit is $100,000, and it's dude, what is this?
That's crazy, dude. Okay, I got a question, because I think in addition to what you're saying about tribalism,
ridiculous.
Tribalistic juries, that the internet makes it hard to get an untainted jury, because you hear about these national stories like Kyle Rittenhouse. Pretty much everybody knew who he was. Yep. So in this situation, as part of the media, do we have a duty not to talk about it?
Well, I mean, media's going to report on it or whatever. I think with Chud, he's still fairly, unless you're in the streaming world or you really tapped in with the internet, you're going to know who he is. But I think normies, boomers, they're not going to know. They'll be able to probably get a somewhat fair jury. But my thing is, I'm looking at it this bond situation is nuts. Dude, literally, 2 weeks prior to Chud, some dude killed somebody, some black kid, and he got $250,000 bond.
You have to get $100K from each person too?
Yeah, that's the max is $100K.
So the guy that had 250, he still needed to get 3 different people to pay his bond as well.
Max is 110.
So Dual put up $1 million. Alex
I'm not
Rosen,
talking about Chud. I'm talking about
Alex
this
Rosen,
other guy.
Fight for Kids. He was going to put up 100, and they're like, no, we need 10 different people putting up 100K.
What?
Yeah,
you said this other guy had a 250.
They're making a fake reason to lock him up. Or I told you they're going to lock. I said this today. I was like, he's getting locked up. Thank you, and have a nice day.
My question: does everybody that's posting bond need 100K from different sources, or is that just a one-off with this Chud situation?
That's a good question. I don't know. But keep in mind, with 250K, you only got to come up with 10%. A lot of the time.
So does he only need 10% with a $1 million bond?
I think each person can only put up 10%, which is why it's 100,000. That's why.
Oh.
Because if 250K, 20, put up 10%, 25K, right? For Chud, it's $1 million. But 100K is the max.
So that's a bond law, is that any one person can only.
I don't know
10%?
if it's a law or whatever, but that's what the judge said today during the hearing, which is insane. So that's purposely why, I guess strategically, why they have his bond so high. It was originally at 1.25. Now it's at 1, and it's
They
ridiculous.
kept it at 1 because that's the minimum that you can't bond.
Yeah, it says this article from WSMV, this unique rule is going to keep him locked up. They say bonding companies are only permitted to put forth $100,000 of liability.
There you go.
They can't take full responsibility. As such, 10 different companies would have to split the risk and require a $10,000 bond be paid to each of them. During Wednesday's hearing, Earthly's attorney requested the cap allowance be raised, saying that only 2 bonding companies so far were willing to work on the case. Goodman denied that request. They're going to find every reason in the world to give him an unfair trial and lock him up.
Yep.
And look, if and I want people that are watching this that like might not like Chud or be like he's a racist, whatever. That's fine. You don't have to like him. I'm not arguing that. What I'm saying is, like, if you believe in the Second Amendment, if you believe in the ability to defend yourself, like, you need to keep an eye on this. And this is going to obviously set a precedent.
Matters.
Oh, it does, because it's First Amendment too. If this guy, if his intention was not to produce fighting words when he said, "What are you?" Then you're going to chimp out again. Like then the guy had no right to attack him.
You guys are so 1990s, man. I mean, I know you get it. I know you get it, Myron. Yeah. Listen, man. If you go to San Francisco,
convicted.
You think you got free speech in San Francisco? You don't. If conservatives go to San Francisco and speak up, the cops will laugh as Antifa beats the crap out of you with crowbars, and they'll do nothing about it.
We live in a violent militocracy, but if you're charismatic, where basically the cops can shoot you at any moment for any reason off camera, and then they'll get off.
Story?
You know?
You guys see the Lego story out of Utah?
Yeah.
The cops just making stuff up.
Yeah.
This story's crazy.
A guy pawned his $200,000 worth of Legos, and then the cops came and took it. What's the story exactly?
There's a lot more to that, but I'm referencing Reckless Ben. There's body camera footage where he stops at a stop sign, and the police argued he blew the stop sign because he stopped shortly after the stop sign. So they said he was crossing the stop line, and I'm like, but you have to see oncoming traffic because cars are parked. Anyway, to your point, largely, in a lot of circumstances, like this is the thing about power, guys. If you go to a small town and you F with that small town, a cop will shoot you in the face in broad daylight, and every single member of that town will say, "I didn't see nothing." That's the reality of power. Okay, that's how it works. Free speech. Everybody's making these arguments about you have a right to free speech. Bro, what this is about is who Chud is and whether there will be a group of people who want Chud out. Now, you can make the arguments, every argument in the world about the First Amendment, Second Amendment. What you're trying to do there is to assert legitimacy and institutional authority. We must abide by this thing. The truth is that the real goal there is to convince regular people, and I'm not saying you're wrong to do it. I understand the point of saying he has a First Amendment right, a Second Amendment right. But the reality of the exercise of power is, will there be enough powerful people in Tennessee to say stop or not? I think they're going to lock him up. I don't think any prominent millionaires, billionaires, influential politicians in Tennessee are going to stick their neck out for this guy. The inverse is going to happen. They're going to say, I don't want to get caught up in that. Lock him up. And then the question of free speech.
So you're saying, like, practically, you think he's going to get locked up. But do you think he's valid self-defense, though, with that fact pattern?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Initially, I was saying.
Like what you're saying. You think he's like, from the fact pattern, he's in the right. However, you think they're going to make an example out of him. And
so I'll clarify. Initially, when the story came out, and what we understood was that he walked up to a guy, they had words, and a fight broke out.
Yep.
I'm like, they're going to look at his history and say, Chud has a tweet where he said.
And they don't have the pump video yet. That's the other thing I was going to tell you. They're working on getting it.
Chud has a tweet where he said, we all know something like, we know how this ends with me doing thing that ends in death, and then y'all going nuts when I get out of jail. Statements like that will play a role in whether or not. However,
he said he would defend himself.
Once we learned from the charging documents that Chud tried to disengage, it changes everything.
Yep.
The fact that he tried to disengage makes attempted murder the most psychotic charge they could. Again, they could still get him on some, like, if the argument was that Chud walked up to a guy, like they said something to him, he walked up, words were had, a fight breaks out, and he shoots him, the best charge they could get reasonably would be like assault with a deadly weapon. Like, you're not going to argue. So second-degree murder is like passion murder. That in that moment, in his mind, Chud said, this man must die, and decided, I'm going to kill. That's not, he's getting beat up. So that's once you hear the charging documents that Chud attempted to disengage, now you've removed all intent. Chud had no intention of causing harm to this other person. Then he gets hit. Now a fight was started by the other guy after Chud tried to disengage. Now you've got a self-defense claim.
Prosecutors always overcharge, though, because it gives them a little bit more wiggle room later on to, we would plead to this, blah, blah. They almost always
Right. Exactly. But if he goes for trial on this one, on the merits, I think his lawyers are going to say, Chud, you're going to prison because if
he has a good lawyer, and his lawyer ensures that they mitigate as much of this like streaming stuff coming in to not taint the jury. I think he has a very solid chance, man. And they go on the facts and circumstances on there. And then, if they do that, have the contingency of we're going to destroy your main witness's character because this guy, Josh Love, is a POS. That's another option. But we'll have to see, man.
But what's allowed?
Everyone thought Diddy was gone, and then Diddy beat the RICO. Diddy literally beat the RICO with a fantastic legal defense.
He did it, man.
Yeah, but
not only did he do it, but then he did do it when he got off from what.
But Cassie just ran out. You saw she just like left the country with like $30 million.
I mean, it's at the judge's.
Cassie, the star witness, his ex-girlfriend.
It's at the judge's discretion, though, right? So, and the judge has already shown that by the bail stuff that he's probably.
I think because the state system. Please correct me if I'm wrong here, but like the state system is kind of like the federal one. It's not been indicted yet, so it's like at a lower level judge.
Okay, right.
Once it gets indicted, then it's going to go to like a real trial judge.
Okay.
And a lot of times magistrates are like kind of cowards. They don't really want to I don't want to be the guy to do this or whatever. Yeah. They don't want the liability. So that might be a reason why he's behaving the way that he is.
What would be a manslaughter charge? Like, what would be an example of manslaughter?
This could constitute as manslaughter, I would say.
Self-defense.
Yeah,
fight,
this could constitute this could be like a manslaughter charge could be like, okay, look, we don't got enough for attempted murder, whatever. Well, let's go with a manslaughter or whatever. But we'll see what happens.
Had to die though. Like for manslaughter, wouldn't he have had to die? Or would it be attempted manslaughter?
Yeah.
Attempted manslaughter, or
like what's the difference?
Assault with a deadly weapon or something.
Just
aggravated assault.
People probably know about this, but the difference between murder 2 and manslaughter, do you know off the top of your head?
It depends. Every state is different.
So like murder 1 is generally when you intend to go to kill someone.
Yeah.
Murder
completely
2
premeditated, planned out.
Yeah. Murder 2 is you intended to kill someone, but you didn't go planning. Like you didn't go to the guy's house, right? So you were somewhere, something happened and you intended to kill him, but you didn't show up at that place intending to kill him. And then manslaughter is there was an altercation, something happened, and you tried to defend yourself, or
you drunk drove, killed somebody.
Yeah, you did something that caused someone to die. Generally, again, but like
every state's different. But but with this one, I mean, we'll see what happens. I know they're going to push it to the grand jury. They'll probably get an indictment because probable cause is such a low barrier. People don't understand like how low it is, especially at the state level. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think it's really going to be on his defense attorney to like put the work in, because I do think that this is completely salvageable, and the defense attorney's going to have to, But I don't know. The defense attorney's made some tweet that was really weird. Like, oh yeah, we're not racists. Like, he made this whole like tweet about because they've been getting a lot of phone calls of people complaining.
People need to understand how politics and power work, and. It's beneficial to the powers that be that we all believe in the legitimacy of a system in which there is little legitimacy. And what I mean by that is we want to believe that if you're innocent, you will be found not guilty by the jury. We want to believe that when the police are asking you questions and you're innocent, if you're honest, they'll say thank you for your assistance.
Of course.
Except we live in a country where when the cops are asking you questions, they're really thinking, how can I arrest this guy?
Yep.
We live in a country where, again, like I said, if you drive through a small town of like 1,000 people in the middle of, say, like Nebraska, and let's say you get out and you're acting like a dick, you're pissing everybody off, they know. Then you get into a fight with somebody, and they want to get rid of you, they can get rid of you, and ain't nobody's going to do anything about it. Let me tell you, I went to Utqiagvik. You know what that is? It's Barrow, Alaska, and they changed the name because 70 people voted and no one else did. Town's got like 1,000 people. We rented a car. We were driving, and Google Maps told us to go down this one road. The only problem is it was a summer road, and currently it was just snow ditch. So I was like, hey, look, we got a road right here. It says we can go across, and then we go, bam, and we get stuck. So they pull the car out, and we get a flat. Literally every single person in the town of Barrow, Alaska knew that we got a flat tire. Not only did they know we were there, because when we landed, it's only 1,000 people. People got off the plane and they recognized me and they're like, what are you doing here? And I was like, we came to check it out. It's like the northernmost city in America. It's like a place to go. Everybody knew we were there. The moment we got a flat tire, we get a phone call from the rental company, small companies, like, so you got a flat, huh? You want to, let's bring it back in. We're like, yeah, sorry about that. We go to get food at a restaurant. They're like, oh, flat tire, huh? Everybody knows. Now imagine what happens. Of course.
On group chat or something. Yeah.
Because the local news is so small. Now imagine you go to a small town and you do something like shoplift, or you get into a car accident, or you hit a kid or something. You could go into a small town and they could simply be like, we're smuggling drugs and you saw us. Bang. The cop shoots you and says, our economy is based off the illegal drug smuggling, so we're not going to let you leave. And then what are you going to do about it? You're missing, and the local police say, we'll investigate. Nothing ever happens. Just another missing person. That's how politics actually works.
Myron, were you a cop in the government? Was that your role?
No, my official title was Special Agent with Homeland Security Investigations, or HSI.
Did you arrest people? Was that part of your job?
Yeah, all the time, yeah.
Did you ever look at people and just be like, I don't care what they did, I'm going to arrest them?
So at the federal level, you have to present an enormous amount of evidence to even get an AUSA to take your case and get it indicted and charged. We don't have the same level of probable cause arrest leverage like the state does. For example, you get stopped on a traffic stop. I smell weed. You did this. I'm just gonna make an arrest right there. Take you to the jail. Book you. Let the DA deal with it later. The federal system doesn't work like that. Contrary to popular belief, feds have very little power to actually effectuate arrests without full support of the United States Attorney's Office. You're not going to make an arrest unless you talk to an AUSA. So that makes it where this is why they don't lose cases a lot of times, because you're typically working a case alongside the prosecutor the entire time, versus at the state and local level, they kind of do it on their own and then they bring the prosecutor in after, and that's why there's so many mistakes in state cases, almost always the 50% failure rate so many times. So that's one of the main differences.
Okay. Is it because you have to wait for, was it ASUA is what they're called?
United States Attorney's Office. So we call them AUSAs, Assistant United States Attorney's Office.
Do you have to wait?
Attorney.
Do you need their authority to make the arrest, or it's just smart to wait for it? Because
yeah, pretty much. I'll give you an example. When I was on the border, right, we can catch someone smuggling in 20 kilos of coke, right? We got him there. He confessed, whatever. I still got to call the AUSA and be like, look, I'm going to file a criminal complaint. This is what I got. Okay, we're going to accept it, right? And you send a complaint in, and then you send it, they look at it, then they forward it to the judge. Everything still has to go through them. You're not going to, go to a judge without going to an AUSA like the state and local scheme.
You can take him into custody, and you have him in custody while you're getting that.
Yeah, when he's there, and I'll call the AUSA and get that concurrence that they're going to accept the complaint. But I can't let's just take him and drop him off without talking to an AUSA.
Is he in handcuffs by the time you call AUSA?
A lot of times, because you'll show up and he'll be there, and customs has him, and then you take it from there.
Finish your point.
Yeah, you'll show up, he'll be there cuffed up, and then if you show up fast enough, you can do what's called a controlled delivery. Hey, where was this drug supposed to go? New York City. All right, you want to cooperate? Yeah, make a control call. Calls a guy. Hey, sorry, I got a flat. We're gonna go. Cool. We do the controlled delivery. I call the AUSA. We're gonna do a CD. We take it to where it's gonna go, and then we do the surveillance. Or if he says I don't want to cooperate, okay, cool. We're gonna file the criminal complaint. Do you concur?
Have you ever mercilessly beaten a man?
Please say yes.
No, man.
Mercy involved,
dude.
There's mercy involved.
Obviously, there's always corruption everywhere. Let me be clear about this. There's always corruption everywhere, but I would say at the federal system, it's a lot. It's far more buttoned up and crossing T's and dotting I's, and that's why they barely lose cases. And by the time we're coming to get you at 6 o'clock in the morning, the investigation's been going on for a year or two. We have informants. We have you on the phone. We have wiretaps. We've done search warrants. We've done grand jury subpoenas. We have an enormous amount of evidence on you by the time we show up at your house at 6 a.m. Probable cause arrests are actually very rare at the federal level, unless you have everything. Right then and there.
We're gonna go to your Rumble rants and super chats. So smash the like button, share the show with everyone. The uncensored portion of the show coming up at 10 p.m. You got to join Rumble Premium to watch, and if you want to call in, you got to be a member of the Discord community. But it's always fun, not so family friendly. But in the meantime, let's grab those chats from you guys. Super Pooper says, I don't want to be a part of your Discord. I just get into arguments with the people. They're not my people. I do want to call in. If you created a role in your Discord just for calling in, it would be cool. But you literally can just join to do the call-ins. You don't have to argue with people. I don't understand. Sign up, join the Discord. Don't argue with people.
Yeah, you
don't go in the chat and just chill, and then submit your questions for the call-ins. Easy enough. Timcast.com.
It's like running through a gauntlet. You have to not get baited by the things.
But I'm pretty sure isn't the call-in chat separate from the actual chat?
Yeah.
Call-in submissions is its own thing where you submit a question and then.
Yeah, they're all different.
You can just practice self-restraint and not actually engage in arguments.
True. I mean, I appreciate the rant. $50. You know what I mean?
For sure. Join
it's
the
like
Discord,
5 months of membership right there.
It's worth it, bro. You'll be a stronger person when you can resist it.
Josh Stedford says, in keeping with Timcast tradition, we're at the hospital waiting for the birth of our first son. Welcome to the world, Tate Andres.
Oh, Tate.
Congratulations.
Holding it down. Tate Andres, dude.
NNY says, logged in 10 minutes late. Big ups to Myron. I expected a screed against Jews. Instead, it was a screed against women. Congrats for staying on message. Oh, no, it's that one. Badmouth Bandit says, unfortunately, today we had to put down our family cat, Henry. He will be missed dearly. Rest in peace, my furry friend.
Condolences,
Henry.
Man. The Fallen says, Ian, Hassan wasn't banned for being communist. He was banned because he repeatedly calls for terrorism against governments and the killing of influential people.
From in the UK? I assume it's
everywhere.
The UK.
Everyone.
Yeah. Well,
All the time.
I didn't insinuate. I hope I didn't insinuate that it was just because of his LARPing communism that he got banned. But I do think that's why he's getting investigated.
You know what? I think there's a lot of really dumb people, and I feel like the political divide in this country is an IQ test. So for a lot of people who are like average or above average intelligence, they can see these problems and they can think a few steps ahead. And they say, okay, well, if we want to solve these problems, we need to implement these strategies. Dumb people just say it's someone's fault. It's just someone's fault. Hassan, and there are other commentators, but Hassan is the kind of guy who says, you're right to be mad and blame that person for it. Blame that person.
Blame the billionaires.
Yeah,
exactly. It's always some unreachable evil that you can't stop. Now, the left says the right wants to scapegoat migrants. Except when the right scapegoats migrants, they say, hey, they're taking low-skilled jobs that Gen Z should be taking. They're driving up the price of houses. They're causing problems in supply and demand, and they're disruptive to our culture. That's very, very different from the billionaires did it. So if you can think a few steps ahead, you'll go, hey, a wealth tax really wouldn't work. Where will they get the money from? You can't tax intangible wealth. The left just says...
Yeah, the top 1% pays like 40% of the taxes.
That's why I love the question, like, you know, that Dave's getting ragged on for the Jubilee thing, but he had a few good points. Says, what's the fair share? You want to tax the rich? What is the fair share the rich should pay? They don't have an answer. There isn't one. It's just gimme, gimme, gimme.
It should fluctuate.
It's not. I mean, there are people that say gimme, 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 but really the motivation now, I think, is largely hurt the people that I blame for my position in life. It's not motivated about
right, because the truth is they're all rich.
Yeah.
The truth is poor people in the United States are wealthier than 99.99% of all humans who have ever existed.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to minimize the struggle you have with your bills, your car payment, your mortgage. I'm not trying to minimize the struggle you have if you're a young person who can't buy a house or get married. But it is true what I am saying. Humans in America today are wealthier than the overwhelming majority of all humans who have ever existed. So the challenge is always relative. That doesn't mean you're wrong when you say, I wish I could own a house and I want to have a family. And it sucks that it's become harder and harder to do, and we want to solve for those problems.
And most black millionaires are in America, despite systemic racism, right?
And the challenge is these progressives don't have to work. They don't. And many of them don't work. They're professional activists.
Yeah.
They eat whatever they want, whenever they want. They got hot, clean, running water, and they're upset about it.
That's part of why I've softened on the military. The War Machine, for instance, the Empire. Like I used to rail against that thing, but as I sit here in my air conditioning talking to the internet for money, I realize I'm living on the back of the Empire. So like I'm not going to tear it down. I used to be the kind of tear it down guy. Just be realistic about what you're utilizing in life and don't rip it apart.
Well, you know, it's first world problems, right? Like when people say things, you know, like I was giving the joke earlier, like, you know, black people complain all the time about systemic racism and all this, you know, oppression, whatever. It's like, dude, we have the most black millionaires here than anywhere else in the world. Like, you know, yeah, civil rights
Liberia waits.
era, I get it. But yeah, right? Go back to Wakanda. But and get some vibranium.
Hold on. Wakanda is in Illinois. Liberia is in Western Africa.
I mean, that the vibranium is in Illinois.
Yeah, there is
a town in Illinois called Wakanda.
I
agree. Part of Chicago Metro. We used to go there all the time.
I don't know. And it's like, I want to give people, you know, perspective to be appreciative of what they have, but without taking it away from them. You know, I encourage you to go to a foreign country and live in like a relatively destitute area for a while where you barely get a trickle of shower water.
Been to Sudan, been to Egypt, you know, like it makes you really appreciate, you know, traveling the world makes you really appreciate like what we have here. I'm sorry?
You been to Juba?
Never been to Juba, no.
South Sudan?
No. Well, my family's from the north, but
the GDP is $300 per capita.
I believe it.
$300.
Yeah, I believe it though.
It means they're living off like $24 a month. Not even 24.
Have you been there?
No.
Oh man, do they have convenience stores or is this like?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Of course. And then when you look in South Sudan at like the American embassy, it's like this little square of perfect, pristine, and like it's nice. And everything else is dirt and huts and
broken and
yeah.
unkept.
I'd love.
I mean,
to
I
go
went
to
as a
that,
kid. This is like '95, but it was back when it was one country. Now, obviously, it's Sudan, then South Sudan. But yeah,
I was. We were looking around on the earth on this show, and I was looking at Algeria. I think it is. Okay. Is it? Yeah. Tamanrasset. It's a city in like the dead middle of the Sahara in a mountain. It's like straight in the middle of the Sahara, and it's got like 150,000 people living there. Got an airport, and I'm like, that would be a place to go. That sounds fun. Algeria, you'd probably, I'd assume because it's an arid wasteland, you're not going to get a lot of parasites.
True.
Sandworms. It's pretty crazy.
Sandworms.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That seems like a fun place to go.
Sounds cool to me.
Yep.
Are there ticks and lice in the sand?
I don't know. But we got the super chat from Dustin Hayes. He says, New World screwworm has hit the U.S. This affects all livestock and native wildlife. Please bring this up. What's New World screwworm?
Sounds really...
Do you work for the World Economic Forum?
Cochleomia hominivorax. Oh, it's one of those flies that injects its oh my God. No way. What?
Like a bot fly?
Oh man.
The New World screwworm. It's a species of parasitic blowfly. I'll pull this up. This is bad.
Gross.
Infestation of a live vertebrate animal by a maggot is scientifically termed what is this? Myiasis? Myiasis?
Should be maggot.
What does it do? So what do they do? They like embed in the dude,
under the skin.
Yup.
And then a larva grows into a fly and breaks out of your body. Well, I'm not saying you because it's not going to happen to you.
Yep.
But if it were to happen to that poor cow.
Whoa, dude, that's nasty.
For June 3rd, 2026, the USDA has confirmed the presence of the New World screwworm in the United States, specifically in a 3-week-old calf in Zavala County, Texas. Oh, this direction follows recent findings of the past in Mexico, is close to 25 to 31 miles from the U.S.-Mexico border.
And they do infect humans.
Dude,
yes.
This is what I'm talking about.
Hold on. The U.S. previously confirmed its first human case in Maryland in 2025 involving a traveler returning from El Salvador.
So actually, the range does include southern United States.
Yep.
Like,
it just looks like a normal.
Oh no! It says largely eradicated, so it's come back.
They've been working on it.
Oh, so these illegal immigrants are bringing screwworms back. Now, a fly is going to land on you and lay an egg in your arm.
Oh, gross.
And then one day...
or in your eye when you're sleeping or something.
Bro.
Can you imagine how gross that is?
Oh, God.
How gross.
No,
horror movies
We need stuff like this to remember that nature is the enemy. It's not each other. Bro, we're on the same team as humans.
Gaia.
Yeah.
It's not George Soros, it's Gaia.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
Gaia out to shake some shit.
We need to convert, not a day goes by.
Flies.
I'm not driving past some like big open field and just thinking to myself, could this not be improved by a Walmart and like a shopping center and parking lot?
Just pay.
You know what I mean? I just see all these trees and I'm like, enough.
Cut them down.
Walmart.
That's right.
You know?
So
parking
beautiful
lots
from a distance, man. But walking under tree canopies, I get freaked out from the ticks these days. I haven't been going under trees lately.
They'll jump on you, and then they'll bite you. They'll burrow their heads into your body, and then you can never eat a cheeseburger again.
You gotta like peg your pants so they can't get up under your socks, and like
you can just put on
wear a hat.
Put on deep woods off.
They jump off of trees and land on you. Yeah, they climb up onto the tall stalks of grass and wait. And then when you walk by, they jump on you.
I was just learning about this mosquito called the Asian tiger mosquito. Ever see one of those? They're black with white stripes. They're real aggressive. They were in New York City in like 2009 or 13 or something. Over in
What do they give you, like AIDS or something?
I don't think they were transmitting anything in particular, but they're real aggressive mosquitoes, and they're like little. They're like streamlined looking.
Streamlined little
Asian
mosquitoes.
tiger mosquitoes.
I hate
like
bugs, but
aggressive.
the only benefit they really give is like for besides nature stuff. They are pretty good when it comes to figuring out, like, how long someone's been deceased for solving crimes for murder.
Mosquitoes?
No, like flies and stuff like that.
Oh.
Like, yeah, do you guys hear about like that case with David the singer?
Oh yeah.
So left that girl in a Tesla, like the underage girl.
Vid.
A big part of the reason why they were able to somewhat establish when she passed away was like the development of the bugs.
Yeah.
A free thinking dog says Al/Tipper Gore founded Parents Music Resource Center, and this is why we got the explicit lyrics labels and ESRB on games in the late 90s.
The explicit lyrics thing, that was a badge of honor.
But the point I'm making is that the exertion of political authority is not always about a law being passed or a cop coming and knocking on your door. When a member of Congress says, I can make a phone call and subpoena you and you'll go to prison, you're going to do what we tell you to do. That's power politics. So that's my point about censorship. And
you know, with the Twitter, the back door with the FBI and Twitter.
Exactly. And so there was what was that email service? LavaBit? What was it? LavaBit? They wanted Snowden's emails. I think it was Snowden. So the NSA sent a letter that basically said, you're going to turn over everything or we'll destroy you. So he shut his company down. It was like, later. He's like, I will not comply. And that's what they do. There's no legal authority to do what they're doing. They can just say, listen, the things we can do may not be, the procedure is the punishment, basically. All right. A Free Thinking Dog says, cow will take a nap while standing. So cow tipping is real because I've done it. When they want to deep sleep, they'll lay down. It's hard to push half a ton, though. So the dairy farmers that I talked to told me, so 10 years ago, I was thinking cow tipping was like a thing. And we did this story. And I asked them, dairy farmers, and they were like, that's not real. They were like, you can't like Beavis and Butthead did it, and it's fake. They like kneel next to the cow, and then when you push against it and it falls over, that's not possible. You'd be crushed by the cow. You can't knock the cow over. So, and cows sleep lying down. So, I mean, maybe there are some circumstances in which someone has knocked a cow over, but the idea that people go cow tipping, as I understand it,
for the first time, I typed into my search algorithm, how do you cow tip? And it does say it's an urban legend.
Yeah.
I haven't looked deeply in yet. It's not a real or feasible activity. What?
Is that because you can't push the cow over?
Cows are big and heavy, man.
This guy says he did it. Did he trip the cow? Did he stick a couple of rocks down there to the right side of its feet?
MX Cope says, Tim, the LA mayoral vote in count went from 60 to 62, and Pratt did not gain a single vote. Only Bass and Rahman, which is weird considering it's one county. So it's not like you can look at a state and say these different counties count at different rates and have different political opinions. So when they're like, oh, the votes came in from one county to one voting location to be counted and Pratt doesn't get any votes, yeah, they're cheating. And I'll tell you this morning, I made a video about this, of which I said the Democrats have weeks-long voting practices in California so that they can rig the election. Mm-hmm. YouTube froze the video for a half an hour as processing. It wouldn't go. So I uploaded a second version of it. It said, processing will begin shortly, and it was frozen. Now it's like 10:01, and I'm like, video's supposed to go live. So I grabbed an old video, random, uploaded it to see if the YouTube was broken, instantly uploaded, no problem. So then I re-rendered the video, put no title and no information in. Then it processed. And once it was done processing, I then put in Democrats are cheating. And here's what happened. Insane. They're playing games.
I thought it was AI scraping your voice.
They do this.
But at least they were just getting the text, but still.
I believe that YouTube's algorithm searches titles and then decides to put their thumb on the scale.
Oh, yeah.
So this has happened many, many times on specific videos, and it's always something politically charged. Not to mention I do a lot of politically charged stuff, but this one's particularly charged. And when the upload gets blocked for some reason, and it's always a procedural error, I re-upload with no title, and then it's fine. Then once it's public, I'll put the title in. So it publishes initially as it just says Tim Pool. All right, everybody, we're going to the uncensored portion of the show. So join the Timcast Discord at timcast.com. Head over to rumble.com/Timcast IRL for the uncensored, always fun, not so family-friendly portion of the show. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Myron, you want to shout anything out?
Myron Gaines X on everywhere. I stream everywhere: YouTube, Rumble, Kick, Myron Gaines X, Twitter, and get the book Why Women Deserve Even Less, book number 2. It's on Amazon right now. It's an Amazon bestseller in feminist theory. So it was number 1 for a while. So go get it, guys, and we're gonna get into the uncensored part.
I'm at Ian Crossan. You find me on the internet. Go YouTube and Twitch. I stream live. Check me out. Subscribe. Go to X, and you can follow me on Instagram for cover songs and other music that I put up from time to time. Go to castbrew.com and get Ian's Graphene Dream. It's a low acidity coffee blend. Quite good. Phil Labonte.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. The band is All That Remains. You can check out our music on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, and Deezer. We're going to be playing the Warped Tour in D.C. on the 14th of June, just a couple weeks away. Don't forget, the left lane is for crime. Carter.
Carter Banks. You can follow me at Carter Banks on X and at Carter Banks Official everywhere else. Also, follow our record label at Trash House Records on YouTube. There will be a promo video going up tonight for a song that I'm releasing at midnight, so check that out. Tim?
We'll see you all over at rumble.com/TimcastIRL right now. Thanks for hanging out.